But there are people that are millionaires, billionaires, and even trillionaires that are spending money on the most ridiculous things possible.
For those who think having a Rolls Royce is nice, think again.
Right.
Because I'm here to tell you why Rolls Royce sucks. First off, let's talk about the shooting stars. They told me they are shooting stars, but didn't tell me how long it takes for them to appear.
Right.
So, let's see. Finally, there's one. But is it worth the 30 minutes wait? Now, let's talk about the world's most expensive umbrella. It's so hard to pull out. Imagine when it's raining, I have to soak in the rain before I can even get the umbrella out. And this $20,000 fridge is the worst. I put a water bottle in there in the morning, and by the afternoon, it's still hot as fuck. Oh, and they said this is a massage seat, but I barely feel anything. I'm sure my cats can do better. And all these so-called upgrades cost another $100,000.
Whoa.
I mean, they exist, but they don't really do the work. So, do you think it's a scam?
Definitely.
For those
Do you regret buying that Ferrari?
Dude, 100%, bro. Owning that car for the past 4 months, it cost me over 50 grand in maintenance. So that was crazy. So that I regret. However, something that I don't regret is that I'll never be 19 driving a
I owned this car for literally 1 day. Okay, you guys, the past 2 days of my life have been so insanely stressful, and let me tell you why. So I bought my car. Woohoo! Yay, I didn't even get to really like enjoy it because the financing and like all of the contracting part, they fucked me so hard until of course I call my father and I tell him like I'm all excited. I'm like, "Oh, they did this and this." And my dad's like, "What?" Basically, they signed me up for gap insurance, didn't need it. And honestly, guys, I can go back and forth about how shitty the contract was, but luckily, there's a 2-day canceling like contract fee. So instead of buying this car that I was so excited to do, I am no longer buying this car, and I'm here at Mercedes-Benz right now, and I'm dropping it off. I owned this car for literally 1 day.
Hey guys, and I just posted a video about how much, oh my god, I can't even speak. Oh my god, I can't even swallow anyway. I know I just posted a video about how good this car is. I love the Tesla, you know. Fuck the Tesla. I miss my Camry. I don't even have anywhere to put my freaking phone at in this car.
It was I bought a real expensive car and I didn't even have a house.
I'm gonna give it to you straight. Ford, the screen freezes more than my Wi-Fi. That random clunk noise, you learn to just ignore it. The transmission, it thinks about shifting eventually. Ford has way too many buttons doing nothing. And you don't really drive it, you manage driving it. Chevy, you can have a $30,000 truck or a $60,000 truck and the interior is the same. The infotainment system has a mind of its own. Nav works when it wants to. They tell you it's just a Chevy thing, but it's that one rattle you get in and I don't care how far you drive, where you go, you're gonna hear that rattle. But everybody know that's just a Chevy rattle. With Chevys, you start hearing noises after 5,000 miles. I've just broke in. The Maserati, yeah, you could say it's an $80,000 car that looked like a Chrysler Sebring used to look back in the day. The Maserati rent car liability with an $80,000 ticket. It does sound amazing when it's actually running and you're not in the shop talking to the service advisor. The check engine light basically goes with the Maserati. It's part of the package. Last one is the Audi. Oh my God. The Audi has a lot of screens. The Audi drives amazing until you run it hot. Run it hot is a wrap. Dash lights on an Audi is going to eventually look like your first Christmas. Maintenance on an Audi is more than my HOA fees. The bottom line is, if you want a good deal on a good car.
I put everything in my dad's name, bro.
Are we going to put it in your name today?
I mean, we're going to try. Whatever's best with numbers. Like I said, if numbers don't work in my name, I can bring my dad back tomorrow too. We can see if we can put it in.
And what are you trading?
I have a GLB 35 AMG.
Give
me a good price, bro.
I think we got to get the approval done first.
I know.
I'm already suspicious.
I told Tony before I came in, it is a branded title, though.
It's a branded title?
Yeah, it's a branded title.
Okay, all right.
Service due too. Only reason I haven't serviced it yet is I'm literally planning on buying a new car, bro. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm about to get flamed in the comments,
let us do the service. It's all good. You said you owe 29?
I owe 29.
It's a branded title?
Branded title. You can work with me, bro. You can work with your brother here, man.
What's a branded title for?
Suspension problem. Like
it's a lemon.
I was also when I bought it, bro. I was in the hype. I was like, yo, I need a new AMG. Like I started making my first money. I was like, yo, I need this car. I need this whip, bro. I was like, what's the cheapest shit that looks like a GLE? And I was like, the GLB. It's a cool car. You don't see it, though, bro. It's a super sick car.
How much money down you got?
Bro, honestly, like 5.
Dude, the car he's trading is a lemon. Yeah. I'm not feeling too confident, to be honest with you, yet, because it's a lemon.
I know, bro.
But let's see. It's got cats. All right. Yeah, it's got cats for sure.
Make it happen.
Let's do it. We'll try. 24 won't work at all.
I'm just not trying to take a L on my
What's
car.
cost to market at 24?
I'm not in a super rush. It's not even like the exact spec I really want. I just like the car. You know what I'm saying? So if it works, bro.
Where did you want to be?
I'm on like the 12s, bro.
Even if we give you 30,500, you're at 1464. But it would be at 1244. I'm doing everything I can for you. We're gonna go off of these numbers right here and see if we can get it done.
Do this for the rest of my life. I'm tired of being broke. I'm tired of being able to barely pay my bills, going into a job where I work my fucking ass off all fucking day.
True.
To barely be able to pay my motherfucking bills. It just is not it. Like, I cannot do this for the rest of my life.
One of my buddies got screwed over so bad purchasing a car. I said, please tell me you're lying, dude. He said, nah, man. I said, hey, I want you to get on Credit Karma. He said, what is that? I said, oh my God. It's as bad as I think. I walked him through how to set up Credit Karma. I shit you not, his credit score started with a number I could count on one hand, not using a couple fingers.
To day 2 of Let's Unfuck My Finances. I'm your host, Lindsay. Let's get into it. I'm on a little debt payoff journey with my husband to pay off $412,299.32 worth of debt. This comes from, you know, some credit cards, some loans, some student loans, car payments, all the things, right? Life happens, especially when you have 4 kids, 5 dogs. It happens, right? But
4 kids, 5 dogs? Wow.
That we are applying. So, made a video yesterday, and based off of the engagement from that video, we will be making a payment today towards this debt. So, I currently have 38 accounts or debt things that we are working towards. So,
jeez,
let's see what kind of dent we can make today.
Parents billed me $300,000 on my 18th birthday for raising me, and now I have to declare bankruptcy. Apparently, there's a law from the 1800s in my state where parents can charge their kids every expense incurred before they become adults. And even though no one's done this for 100 years, it's still on the books. My parents are local historians, so they knew to keep every receipt for groceries and daycare and add it all up every year, and then they sent me a bill for around $300,000 on my 18th birthday.
Wow.
It's set up like a loan with interest, so I have to pay every month, but now I can't afford it at all. I contacted a bankruptcy attorney and I'm going to file and see if I can get this discharged, but I'll probably have to sell my house and my credit score is going to be wrecked.
Grocery store for 3 things: eggs, milk, and bread.
Okay.
And my bill was almost $30. It's insane. It's insane.
True.
My mortgage is almost $3,000. My car payment is $680. My HELOC is $600. It cost me $80 to fill up my gas tank.
Yep, gas
and
is
$300
expensive.
in groceries. And then we have medical bills that we have to catch up on. My electric bill is almost $400.
Wow.
My gas bill is almost $200. My internet is about $50. And we're supposed to survive how?
That's the trick.
My husband makes really good money, but we're living paycheck to paycheck. We are literally paying just to survive because we had triplets and have never been able to catch up. Trying to work from home, barely making any money at all, but I'm busting my butt to do that. I get free products sent to my house every single day, but I'm not making money from that.
A lot of people say that money can't buy you happiness, but I just moved to London and you literally can't go anywhere without spending money. And it's so hard to try and like follow your dreams and live independently. When you don't have money, you just feel really helpless. I'm so sick of people saying, well, money doesn't buy you happiness because...
Am I the only one that's got buddies that call me big money or think I have money and I don't have a dime to my name? Buddy, I have the worst hobbies there is. Hunting, fishing. I like race cars or any type of car that make noise, can, whatever. I like trucks, especially diesel trucks. I mean, the grass ain't green on this side, buddy. I promise this ain't what you want.
You spend $120,000 in a year, you dumbass, making $30,000.
A lot of this stuff are one-time purchases that are not going to be made in subsequent years.
And you need them to survive.
Okay.
One-time purchases.
And you need them to survive.
One-time purchases.
And you need them to survive.
This is what I'm talking about. One-time purchases.
To survive.
That are not going to be made in 2025
Doesn't matter.
or 2026.
You needed them to survive.
So our spending...
Hey,
our spending is going to go down because of those one-time purchases are no longer on the budget.
Works. Next year, maybe you'll want to buy a chin. The spending that you did last year that are one-time, you're gonna find one-time purchases next year.
So how about we go into the finances and look what we can fix? Just because our spending was bad in the last 12 months does not mean it's going to be bad in the subsequent 12 months or the 12 months after that.
She did not have a job since the middle of last year, and you guys chose to live on $120,000. Even if they're one-time purchases, I don't give a You chose that.
We are here to try and fix.
So why the do you think it is okay to spend $120,000 in a year making 20 to 30?
Never said it was okay. Why did we do it? We were fiscally irresponsible.
That is not an answer. Why did you choose to do it?
I don't necessarily have a great answer for it. Spend money on dumb
manicure or go grocery shopping for the week, because then not only will my nails be done, but I'll be skinny. So I could reload money onto my laundry card, or I could add a hash brown to my sausage, egg, and cheese bagel. Honestly, my sheets will be good for one more week. I'm gonna need that bagel tomorrow. Let me check to see if anyone owes me money. There was a couple $100 in my Venmo.
At this point,
This might be a hot take, but not everyone is in debt. Not everyone is struggling right now. I think there is a financial literacy problem in the country. Like, people don't know how to manage their expenses, and it shows. I work in the restaurant industry, and the fact that we are getting 100 DoorDash and Uber orders a night just shows me that you're fucking stupid with your money. Like, why are you spending money on DoorDash when you can go pick up the food and save a shit ton of money? Like, I would rather spend, instead of laying in my house being lazy as fuck, I would rather spend that money on a vacation. And if you think that, oh, it's just a DoorDash order, let's just say you spend $40 a week on DoorDash.
Right.
$40 a week, that's $160 a month. That's almost $1,600 a year. That's a nice weekend vacation. That's a nice Friday, Saturday, Sunday vacation.
Wow.
I would rather be spending my money on memories than fucking food delivery service. Like, people are just fucking stupid with their money. I think, like, if you have kids, I'm sure you are struggling. I could not imagine, but like, my parents do not help me out financially. I live by myself.
No, man, we don't know. To me. Like, I know people take out loans and rely on credit cards and stuff, but the well has to run dry at some point, surely. I know from experience that living a life full of debt just isn't sustainable. So
it's not.
How am I seeing people buy Range Rovers here and houses there? Like, how are people doing it? I'm obviously free.
$500 a month. Wow. House payment, $3,000 a month. Car insurance, let's just say $1,000 a month. What is that?
It's a lot of money.
55, 65 between two people, a couple. You're making about $10,000 a month.
I just had a conversation that made my heart super, super sad. There is a gas station that I go to almost every day to get a soda, and I'm friendly with the workers there now. I know all of them. They're super kind to me. So I go in today to get my soda, and the worker who was there says to me, "Hey, can I ask you something?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course." And she said, "Do you know of any places that aren't banks that I could get a loan today? I have to go on this work trip, and they're gonna like pay for our hotel, but we have to get there and we have to buy our own food, and we don't get reimbursed until after we get back." I told her what I know, like the Payday Loan Center. I know exactly where one is because it's by a store that I go to all the time. I literally just wrote an article about the predatory nature of these places a couple of months ago. And I didn't not want to tell her because, I mean, I wanted to help her, right? Like, she needs money and she needs a loan, not from a bank. She like very specifically said, like, not from a bank. But all I can think is, girl, no, please don't do that.
Sometimes you have to do it, though.
Do not do that. And I know that times are tough for so many. I'm poor.
And this economy is so bad, you'll be sitting there thinking that you bad with money, and all you did was buy food. And it's not even luxury food. It's not the good stuff, is it?
Way more people are in credit card debt than you can even fathom. And I'm talking large.
Now, one thing that I do believe is out of control in America is, of course, grocery prices, gas prices, and the cost of living, especially for rent and mortgage prices or home prices. The real estate market is just insane.
Hi, my name is Caitlin, and this is my first time ever posting on TikTok, and I am posting this as a way to document my journey. I am starting my life over in my 30s. I'm 31 years old, and I left my husband of 12 years in April of this year. And we were together since we were 19 years old.
We have a beautiful son together who is 4. And so not only am I recently single out of married life, but I'm also a single mom now. And I am learning how to do it all on my own for the first time ever. And I actually just moved into my brand new apartment, and well, hence why I'm sitting on the floor, because I have no furniture yet. But I'm super excited to start this new chapter, this journey, and I'm making this series because I want to document it for myself, but also, like, I cannot do.
Each trip to the grocery store is becoming more expensive for Florida mother Kiana Powell, shopping for her family of 5.
My grocery bill has definitely increased about $50.
What would you compare that to?
I would say like a month ago.
The costs are adding up fast.
We probably went over about $150, $200.
Wow. My grocery shopping, spending almost $300. And my question is, do you think that they're just going to keep raising the prices so that eventually, you know, $5.99 for a quarter pound of American cheese sounds like a good deal? Like, how long are these prices gonna go up for? Because, hear me out, no one can afford anything. It's a shame, and it's very sad. There's just a bunch of sad people at the checkout line, and I was one of them. I'm just wondering.
From potatoes to poultry, Americans are watching the price of groceries as they try to make ends meet. So today we analyze the prices of 5 common household staples.
Okay. A 10-pound bag of potatoes, 1 pound of boneless, skinless chicken breast, a dozen eggs, a loaf of bread, and 1 gallon of 2% milk. We visited several popular grocery stores, not to pit one chain against the other, but to see how prices did or did not vary between retailers. We found in some places one item is more expensive, but in others cheaper, so it balances out. Good news for shoppers, we found that all the stores are very close in price.
Costco, of course, is a bit unique because here you have to buy the items in large quantities. For example, the bread comes in a 2-pack. So what we're going to do is split it up to figure out exactly how much it would be per single item.
The price at Costco was the cheapest at $19.93, but you have to decide if buying the larger quantities works out and factor in a membership fee.
And don't forget those circulars that arrive in the mail every week. Now is a good time to look and see what items are on sale.
So I'm at the grocery store right now, and a couple observations. Everything is insanely expensive. It's been expensive, but it's getting to the point where it's like unsustainable to just keep shopping for food, as crazy as that sounds.
I agree.
The second thing is, why are we still using coupons? What is the deal with coupons? Why doesn't the grocery store just knock down the price to what it should be with the coupon? Why do I have to like pull this little ticket here? Or why do I have to go on the store's app to get the lowest price? Just give me the lowest price. So I'm at the grocery store right now, and a couple of...
All right, it's Sunday. We're doing our grocery shopping for the week. First stop is going to be Costco. Let me show you what I get. You guys do you have any 93.7 right now?
I believe so.
Okay, 10 pound too? Yeah, I'll take it. Awesome. Thank you, man. 10 pounds of 93.7 ground beef, $59. Pretty good deal. Organic chicken.
I go out, it's for the whole experience. It's not just to grab a bite. I can do that at home.
Eating out at a restaurant feels like an experience, whereas fast food feels more like just a means to an end to fuel your body. It's not worth the extra money.
Your favorite quick service restaurant might be struggling right now, but fine dining that's actually doing a little bit better, possibly due to a widening wealth gap. Restaurants Canada recently surveyed 300 of its members. They found that overall, the restaurant industry is struggling, with nearly half of those members reporting lower total sales.
So my second ever big girl job was at a grocery store. And I will tell you myself that the issue is not that society cannot feed people. We have more than enough food. It's that feeding people is not as profitable as selling food. One of the darker things that I learned working at a grocery store is that the grocery store food waste, they have something called shrink. Shrink is basically inventory loss. It's stuff that gets damaged, expires, gets stolen, can't be sold. Okay. And when grocery stores throw that inventory away, they write off those losses on their taxes. And so a tax write-off reduces the amount of income that a company gets taxed on. So if a grocery store loses, say, thousands of dollars in unsold food inventory, they can report that loss and lower their taxable profit. These corporations are more concerned with protecting profit margins than feeding hungry people. A lot of us are conditioned to believe that food is a privilege and not a right, but it should be our right
This is what $10 worth of groceries looks like. That's it. Grapes were half off. I don't know what the world's coming to. This is what $10 worth of...
One of the biggest misunderstandings people have right now.
Let's see what $20 will buy me at the grocery outlet. I feel like every time I go to the grocery store now, it's like $70 and I get like nothing. So let's see what $20 will do here. We got some vanilla soy milk for 77 cents. I got a few weeks to drink this. We have some Betty Crocker peanut butter cookie mix for 37 cents. I'm gonna grab both of these. We have these Indonesian caramel cookies. There's a coffee one and a butter flavored one. Let's do one of these. We got these V8 energy drinks for 50 cents. They have caffeine and a serving of it.
A typical bag of groceries today costs 50% more than in 2020. Here's how that breaks down. Forbes estimates that a basket full of groceries, including items such as eggs, butter, and bread, was about $46.95 in 2020.
Okay.
However, now we estimate it to cost $73.07. Some of the items that inflated the most was a large bottle of orange juice, which used to average about $6.78, but now can be found at more than $14. A tub of coffee grounds used to be $7.75, but is now over $16. Items like eggs and ground beef have gone up more than 45%, and groceries like chicken and bread have hovered between 24 and 26% increases.
Is the cost of your weekly food shop getting out of hand? According to OnePoll research,
I just got done grocery shopping at Walmart. Walmart is supposed to be a relatively cheap place to get your groceries from, which is why I shop there pretty often. Do you guys know how expensive hamburger meat is now? It is literally almost $8 for 1 pound, and it doesn't matter what kind of hamburger you're getting. It doesn't matter if it's the 75-25, the 85-15 lean, like, it doesn't matter what kind you get. It's all almost $8, which is insane because my mom used to tell me when I first moved out of the house and was purchasing things on my own, she was like, just always have hamburger because hamburger is so inexpensive. You can pick it up. You can make so much with it. $8 is actually crazy. Like, that adds up so freaking fast. My groceries weren't that expensive. Like, I was adding them up. I'm like, okay, this is fine, this is fine, this is fine. I added my hamburger.
$100 is not really a lot.
2 things of Italian style sausage.
Always need more Parmesan cheese. 2.02 pounds of all natural chicken.
For the crock-pot chicken, diced tomatoes with green chilies, taco seasoning.
Thick and chunky mild salsa.
I like my food. Baked beans for lunch with sausage and rice. My absolute favorite, chicken apple sausage. Gluten-free gnocchi. Basil pesto.
Gluten-free spaghetti.
Almond flour tortillas. Some fresh mozzarella. And some more fresh mozzarella.
Half a pound of turkey for sandwiches.
And we'll grab some potatoes for a breakfast scramble. I never know which ones to pick. 2 onions.
1 head of garlic. The third grid is for
one of the big...
I'm a Brit living in America. Let's go to Walmart. I have no list today, so this might be dangerous. We're here.
Using a receipt from 2006, we went shopping for the same items today. Now, back 20 years ago, the 79 items came to $176.63 Canadian.
How much do you think this whole cart is going to be? Was $2.36 a pound. Be $1.18.
Was $2.
$2.45 a pound. Now they're $2.64.
Slay tomatoes.
This is crazy. Hard salami was $2.19. Now it's over $8.
Things have changed, so not everything is 100%, but we're getting things as close as we can to what the receipt said.
98 cents.
One of these is $9.
98 cents.
2006, it was 33 cents.
$3.96.
20 years, we're basically almost paying double what we were paying in 2006.
That's insane.
That's insane.
Let's see what
now what I kind of
this in New York as well, with this plan of Mayor Mamdani's to open a city-run grocery store, or maybe more than one city-run grocery store. But many people out in the world find this very upsetting, right? They see this as the first step in the slide towards communism. You seem like normal capitalists as far as I can tell. Can you talk about exactly what the relationship is and kind of how you see this conversation around city-owned grocery stores?
When we were in the thick of building this, we actually had a call from Mayor Mamdani's office asking how we did what we did.
Oh.
And we made it very clear, it should not be a city-ran operation because city employees doesn't know how to run retail outlets. So we've actually discussed that. Now, talking about
but then I also want to see
our supermarkets secretly overcharging.
I give us a year, nobody's gonna be able to afford anything. $50. No joke, dude. We wanted roast for Memorial Day, so I got a roast, 1 onion, 2 cans of potatoes, 2 cans of carrots, and 1 can of corn. $47.
Inflation was at 3.8% in April 2026. That was CPI. It was at 6%.
So we've been in this fuel crisis long enough that we're really starting to see how it's starting to affect.
Yo, ain't it funny how they be talking about?
These are the full gross.
So I'm walking around Costco here and I'm noticing these prices. For example, these Madras lentils, $15.99. I bought those a year ago for $6.99.
Ooh.
Let's look at what else we got going on here. Dang, this is the flour we were buying for $5.99 last year.
43% increase. Wow, that's a lot.
We literally bought this chicken broth $5.69 2 months ago. And I keep getting told that we got, 6-7% inflation. We gotta be.
Okay, everybody who says groceries are not that expensive, listen to what I just bought. I did a grocery pickup so that I wouldn't be tempted to buy anything extra in the store.
Okay,
I've already done my big grocery haul for the week, but my daughter's having a kindergarten graduation party and I have to bring cookies. So I got 2 boxes of those like Loft House frosted sugar cookies, 24 cookies. I got a bag of lemons because I need them for a recipe. I got 2 12 packs of Diet Coke, and I only got 2 because there was a coupon. If you buy 2, they were cheaper. I bought 1 box of tea, herbal tea, and that was it. And my total was $45. That did not include any like fees for doing a pickup or anything like that. That was just for the items. And I buy this Diet Coke and tea so that we don't go through the drive-thru in the afternoons. Tell me how in Wisconsin those few items add up to $45 of groceries.
And what's even more insane is that there are influencers, some of the most privileged people in society, that are just scamming innocent people out there, their audience, and of course, selling us that fake lifestyle. It's actually insane. It's absolutely absurd.
Artistic skill and find yourself in a unique opportunity to do work for an influencer, please heed my advice. Do not make the same mistake I did. I lost $5,000.
Last month proposing that they would make content about my business in exchange for some baked goods. The person in question has 53,000 followers on TikTok alone, so I thought to myself, what's the worst that can happen? And before y'all think that I'm blowing smoke up your, I brought the receipts. Let's start from the beginning. This is the first message I received from the person, and initially I was apprehensive. One, because I didn't see the point in tapping into a whole different audience that I wasn't familiar with, but then
have you guys heard of the story of the 28-year-old guy who went to Bali with his influencer girlfriend who had like 200,000 followers on Instagram? And while they were there, she left her location on public on Instagram, which led a local gang to track them down, kidnap her boyfriend, and then demand ransom from the family, like $10 million.
Well, who did we find here? If you didn't see my video a couple days ago about the girl that was pretending to run, was filming it, waving to the camera, all that jazz, would stop after 100 feet, turn around and go back to the guy that she was walking with, get her water bottle again.
Yep.
Go watch it. It's tagged up here. But thankfully, someone in my comments on that original video found her. I don't think she's posted this to TikTok, but she did post it to her Instagram, which has almost 1 million followers. Her TikTok has over 1 million followers.
Wow.
And yeah, she, without shame, posted it and pretended she was running. And even today, she posted another video, or I guess she posted it yesterday on her story of her running again.
My pants laughing at this video right here. So I just watched this girl in her matching pink outfit with her giant ass Love Shack fancy water tumbler that holds, you know, like 6 gallons of water. I watched her on 4 different occasions, at minimum, I'm sure she did it more, hand it to the guy that she was walking with, start running, put her camera like this, smiling, you know, doing hand gestures, and then she'll run about 50 feet, stop, and then walk back to the guy. And I'm like, are you really trying to get people to think that you are running? Like, it is just so ridiculous what influencers will do for views. Like, just say you're on a walk. This is like, brings you back to that Bradley on a Budget guy who was notoriously super cheap. Like, he reuses his paper towels. He only charges his phone when he's at work because he doesn't want to pay the electricity bill at home. He unplugs his fridge when he leaves the house. All of those things, and then he ends up doing a partnership with DoorDash, which is like the last thing on earth that anyone who's cheap would ever spend money on. Hell, I don't even spend money on it except for on rare occasions.
So I posted about this influencer who lied to a restaurant to get hundreds of dollars of free food. Well, Leah here saw the video and she didn't like it. She had her lawyer Ryan Sauter of Sauter Law Group send me an email demanding that I remove the video or face potential legal action for defamation. Now, there's only one small problem with this. Ryan Sauter isn't a lawyer and Sauter Law Group doesn't exist. You see, what Leah and Ryan fail to realize is there's this thing called the California State Bar, which has a database of every licensed attorney in the state of California. And there's no record of a Ryan Sauter. Oh, but it gets better.
I went on the infamous Tarte Dubai trip. So if you don't know, Tarte Cosmetics did a big influencer trip, which was to Dubai, and it was the most like luxurious, insane trip ever that it like broke the media. And I had brought my mom on this trip with me. This was like my first like real big influencer trip. I was like, what is an influencer trip? I don't really understand. They flew us out in the fancy seats on the big plane all the way to Dubai. I mean, put us up in like the nicest room, gifting all around the room. Like, my mom was like, what is going on? I was like, what is going on? And this is now like taking the media by storm because everyone is up in arms about what is going on this trip. And I think the reason that this trip got a lot of backlash was, one, it was an insanely luxurious trip, and two, I don't think anyone had ever really seen an influencer trip before besides like the YouTube days, because the time that TikTok kind of like popped off was COVID era.
Let's talk about scams in the influencer community. Maybe you're newer to influencing, maybe you're a TikTok Shop affiliate, whatever the case may be. I feel like there is a lot of scamming going on, and I have been scammed before in the past, so I feel like I'm well versed enough after doing this for years to kind of go over some like tips and tricks so that you guys don't get scammed and what to look out for. First and foremost, I feel like this is the most common sense one, is that if any brand ever emails you and says, hey, you have to pay for something, that is 99.9999999
to your audience. Just a reminder, majority of the fitness influencers that you are watching that all of a sudden magically got a six-pack or are incredibly lean or in just insane shape, as you may say. Most of them are on GLP-1s or peptides. They're, one, not transparent about it, or two, they never tell you, or three, they tell you months and months later that they've been promoting their cut, how they lost all this weight, what to do to lose all this weight. Another fitness influencer that I even looked up to just shared shoes on Reddit this whole time. Claim that you just had this.
If you're consistently in the gym and you don't have a six-pack and you're not under, say, 15% body fat, what are you doing? Like, genuinely, you don't work hard enough. And, you know, there's fitness influencers out there who are working hard as fuck and eating whatever they want, and they're still maintaining a six-pack. And they're still maintaining under 15% body fat. Yeah. They're cheating. These influencers are using peptides and GLPs and telling you that it's their workout routine, posting their workout routine, and that they eat whatever they want in moderation, but they go have cake like 3 nights a week.
Let's talk about all the influencers who lied about what they built their entire platforms on, part 2. Next up is going to be, I believe her name is either Callie or Kaylee May. Her secret that she shared prior to TikTok going dark was that she never used any of the special ice cubes. So if you don't know who this is, she has 14.5 million followers, and she creates lifestyle and home content. And she went viral for creating these extravagant ice cubes using different shapes and sizes of these ice cube trays. So in her videos, she would do like restocking videos of these ice cubes using tons of different ingredients, lots of foods. In one video I saw, she even used like this glitter dust in the ice cube. It might actually be coming up right now. There it is. And these videos would go really viral. We're talking like 20 million views. And apparently she herself does not use any of these ice cubes. Like, she has an entire drawer in her kitchen full of different ice cube trays. Now, naturally, after people were so shocked by this, she did post a follow-up video where she tries to clarify that she didn't use the ice cubes herself personally, but that her family and friends did. And that it's not that serious. It's just ice cubes.
I just didn't personally use them in like my water or anything. I'm just not an ice person. My stepmom, for example, loved the cucumber mint ones, so I always made sure to make that in every single batch. And when our friends would come over on the weekends, you know, like before going out, we would all put them in our cocktails. Even I did put the pomegranate rosemary. I put the pomegranate rosemary one. Anyway, that's why I had them, because people still use them. I just didn't use them daily in like my ice water.
It's just so interesting to me how these influencers are reacting to people being shocked about them lying and then trying to brush it off like it's just not a big deal. Why did you make the video in the first place? In my opinion, I think that it is a big deal because number one, we now don't know if you're telling the truth about your family and friends using these ice cubes because you've already lied to us about you using them to begin with. And if they didn't, that is a huge waste. Then by being an influencer, you're also influencing your audience to go and buy ridiculous amounts of ice cube trays to replicate what you're doing. And on top of that, majority of these influencers then got brand deals and partnerships with other companies because of a lie. And it's not just like,
so I was just a few days ago.
Influencers owe you nothing. They do not owe you the truth. An influencer does not have to tell you how they got their physique. They might lie and tell you what you want to hear, but they're not actually going to tell you the truth because they don't owe you anything. If anything, they're going to promote a greens powder or a little green smoothie and say, this is how I get my physique. Because again, they're here to get their bag, okay? They don't owe you anything. Take Liv Schmidt, for example. You guys wanted to know how she got skinny? So she told you. What happened to her? She got banned off of the app. Because the truth of the matter is you guys actually don't want the truth. Because
I was tagged, so putting on a ridiculous amount of sunscreen to prove there's no white cast. Well, what's the sunscreen that you're using? Because if it's chemical, then yeah, it's not gonna have white cast.
We're at the food.
This is your sign to get an older man to have a baby with. He's 25 years older than me. We're both stay-at-home parents.
Unfortunately, once again, these people are from my hometown, so I have to talk about this, but this is two very good lessons. One, do not believe everything you see sold to you on the internet, and two, do not try to become a trad wife without a marriage and a very good prenup. Yes, we have to talk about this woman who's going super duper viral on the internet right now because they've already broken up, and she's openly admitting that this perfect age gap, trad wife, whatever fantasy that all of her followers were eating up was a lie the whole time. And that is the part right there. She is roughly my age, and I don't know where she is now. However, before, the two of them were in roughly the town that I grew up in, the Minnetonka, Minnesota general area. Okay. And growing up there was not fun. It's a rich kid, manosphere, wet dream. It's a big reason I got into doing all of this, and it's why I know so much about how all of that works. In the words of one of my favorite films, you merely adapted the darkness. I was born in it, molded by it. It is a big reason I am so obsessed with taking on, taking down, and saving women from the manosphere. Because not only do I know how they think and operate, a few of them, unfortunately, came from my high school. It is not a safe place for women. It hurts them. It damages them. It hurts everyone, even the men involved. This woman coming forward is firsthand experience of that. She's just getting out. And I'm...
Hi, Mama. Hi. Oh,
what's this?
I hate it. I hate it. Ugh. It's really bothersome to see these young kids essentially groomed to act in a particular way to fit the mommy's rich housewife with obedient children narrative that she's trying to create for herself. It's almost like they're
Mikayla Nogueira is in trouble with the FTC for lying about filters. Now the FTC is bringing a class action lawsuit against her. On May 2nd, the FTC put a disclaimer on Mikayla Nogueira's video. FTC guidelines state that all content creators are required to disclose when using filters and are appearance-altering software. The FTC may decide to investigate if the practices are unfair, are deceptive under the FTC Act, which in case the FTC might bring a lawsuit against Mikayla motherfucking Nogueira.
I'm not naming no names, but I wish you guys knew how easy it is to fake being wealthy for the internet here in LA. A lot of those big money guys and your favorite creators don't live where you think they live. So up the street from here, we have this $100 million mansion that costs $90 an hour to rent out.
Interrupt my regular programming to give you a very important message, because I really think that you guys need to hear this. And please don't come at me for my eyeball. I've had an allergic reaction to something. Let's continue. I personally think that being an influencer is one of the best jobs in the world.
True.
Okay? And I think
maybe
a lot of influencers have given the general public and other influencers a really bad rep with, number one, how they behave, and number two, how they complain about being an influencer. Full context, I'm not only a creator, and I kind of hate the word influencer. I prefer the word creator. I do a lot of other things, and those who know me personally will know how busy I am. However, my favorite thing to do is to be a quote-unquote influencer. And I'm not saying that influencing or being a creator isn't difficult. It definitely has its challenges.
I think all these influencers are lying about being rich. I've almost had 1 million followers. Broke as fuck. Well, not broke, but like I go to my regular minimum wage job every single day, 5 days a week, clock in. That's how I pay all of my bills. Is that my thing? I did my taxes and I only got 3 brand deals this year, each for $2,000, which works out to like $500 extra a month. Amazing, gorgeous. I can never be happier. But I'm just saying $500 a month is not livable. You know, like, but I am super grateful for it. But I'm saying that's all that I got. Like, if like, you could.
But on the topic of fitness influencers lying to you and saying that genetics has nothing to do with their body, I specifically just saw a fitness influencer. I think she's from Nigeria, or she has Nigerian roots, and she had a very voluptuous kind of body before she started working out. Like, her hips to waist ratio was like, you know, a Coke bottle, tea. She didn't look bad before, but ever since she started working out, her body looks really nice. Like a cartoon, Marvel, Superwoman kind of body. She looks amazing. However, she just made a post telling people that genetics has nothing to do with it.
The internet here in LA. A lot of those big money guys and your favorite creators don't live where you think they live. So up the street from here, we have this $100 million mansion that costs $90 an hour to rent out. A lot of creators rent that space once a week, film their content, and make it look like they live there. Rent a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, $99 an hour. It gets crazier because most people in LA have a following. Because to be a model or an actor, there's a lot of casting calls you can't go to unless you have a following. What used to happen is when you got with an agency, they would dump you a bunch of bots. Now most people realize how that damages an account, but the metrics are still there. And since most people don't know how to do that, they end up buying followers, likes, comments, shares, everything. So they can go to casting calls and keep their agency. There's even more because there's agency funded houses out here. Anyone who's part of that agency can go film there and make it look like they live there. And they encourage you to do this because it looks better for the internet. But there's even more because we also have designer rental services. It's between $300 and $800 a month, and you get bags, shoes, sunglasses, clothing, anything you need, all designer. Just wear it, get your pictures, and then send it back. As long as you didn't ruin it, you don't have to pay for it. You can fully construct a lifestyle out here of wealth. And that's part of the reason we're starting to get a bunch of influencer debt resolution companies now. Like, you don't need to feel bad about yourself. Just wear the 10-cent shirt from the thrift store.
She was considered one of the richest Asian influencers on TikTok until people did some digging and realized she's been faking everything. Her name is Mei Lee Young, and she claims to live in a penthouse, spends insane amount of money every month while flying first class, riding around in Rolls Royces and other luxury cars, and never.
Just food for thought. It costs money to pretend to be rich. And then you're wondering why you don't actually ever become rich.
It was all a lie, y'all. They saying this creator is faking about being rich. Say it ain't so, because I love her content. This is Mei Lee Young, and y'all probably know her best from Crazy Rich Asian TikTok. She's the one that's always sitting on the floor of her closet, surrounded by her designer bags, doing story times, who allegedly lives in a penthouse, and is always exposing the lives of rich people. She always likes to talk about how much money they spent at the club, which is often tens of thousands of dollars. She be flexing the luxury vehicle.
Becca Bloom is catching flack online.
Don't get it mistaken. Don't think because I have millions of followers and get millions of views that I'm rich. Let me tell you guys something. The industry is corrupt, and this industry of being an influencer works a lot more like Hollywood than you think. And
Becca Bloom has been.
All right, we're at the food.
Girl, it's some rich Asian on rich Asian crime, girl. I'm telling you, Jamie, honey, came for Becca Bloom neck in the comments, girl.
I've been faking the luxury lifestyle for 2 years, and I'm $1.2 million in debt trying to be an Instagram influencer.
Lord. Jesus.
I thought I could become one of those successful lifestyle bloggers, so I started financing everything. A Range Rover, designer handbags, first-class flights, expensive dinners at trendy restaurants. I'd post about my entrepreneur life and living my dreams, but really I was just racking up credit card debt. I have 17 maxed out cards, personal loans. I even borrowed against my 401k. I was spending $25,000 a month on this fake lifestyle while making maybe $3,000 from sponsored posts.
Your budget was unrealistic.
Totally unrealistic. I kept telling myself I just needed to invest in my image and eventually brands would pay me big money. I've got this $90,000 Range Rover payment. I'm renting designer clothes I can't afford, staying in expensive hotels. Followers think I'm this successful.
guys, I just bought this $20 million. Guys, I just bought this $20 million property with this 100 grand Porsche limited edition only. You got that? Yeah, got that. I'd rather hurry up. I need to return this to the car hairing company. Yalla, yalla.
POV, you own a multi-million-dollar Nantucket home. You hire a house sitter. She proceeds to make content as if it's her home. Do you care? Because that's what this Diary of a Connecticut Housewife influencer is allegedly doing at all the properties where she's hired to be the caretaker. Her feed is beautiful. It looks like she really lives the life. But how easy is this to fake? So easy, especially if you have access to a house. If you walk around town, if you go to the beach and you grab 3-second clips of aesthetic footage, montage it together, people are stupid. They will believe that you are filthy rich because you went to these places one time and you got a little bit of B-roll. So to circle back to the original question, if your house sitter is doing this, are you upset? When you buy a home, are you also buying the bragging rights? Are we offended by the fact that this person is pretending to be a homeowner or that she's deceiving people? Through all the imagery on her profile, she's managed to convincingly associate herself, whether it's real or fake or not, with Nantucket to the point that she started this thing called Camp Nantucket, and she's charging people thousands of dollars to have a Nantucket experience and stay at an Airbnb. And she did this with virtually no understanding or experience of the island. She had only been here one time previously off season. To me, this says the people that signed up for her Camp Nantucket experience don't want an authentic Nantucket experience. They want to experience a version of Nantucket that doesn't exist. Like, do you go to Stop and Shop on this Camp Nantucket experience? Do you go to the dump since there's no public trash service here? Fake wealth and performative wealth are very interesting to me because I wrote this book, a satire about wealth, class, privilege, and race. To Have and Have More is my campus novel that mostly takes place at an elitist prep school. But when they leave, they go to places like Nantucket and Vail. The spoiled kids in my book are the ones who grow up to hire house sitters like this and then have to deal with the dilemma of what to do when they accidentally uncover their caretaker posting their house.
Now, besides that, there's also big problems with people that are buying everyday houses, the normal middle-class American home, but sometimes these houses are in the worst condition possible.
Worse every year. If that's the case, imagine where we'll be at in a couple years.
I am always impressed when a builder is installing a toilet correctly, so this time I'm not impressed. This is an awesome step crack. The left side is completely separated from the right side. You can see.
That's a little crazy right there.
That is completely separated all the way down. The customer says that they have had the gas company out several times complaining about smelling gas, and I can smell gas standing right next to this equipment. And
that is dangerous.
There's the gas leak. And checking the neighbor's house. There's your gas leak. Technician with issues finding the right hole. A lot of driveways that are poorly installed lately, these pavers are starting to sink, and boy oh boy, look at those large gaps.
Guys, that is ridiculous.
Well, that's more than a 1/4 of an inch gap. And more gaps over here, more gaps over here, more gaps over here, and another gap right here. Rip it out and try again. Makes you wonder how these homes pass city inspection. This should have failed at phase 1 inspection. That is a missing gusset plate. Supposed to look like that, but of course, pretty tough to find because it's right above my ladder.
It feels like...
Does anyone else notice that homes are getting bigger, but they feel and look worse? I'm an interior designer, and this is something that I've been thinking about that I feel like not a lot of people are talking about. We've increased the square footage of houses. We've raised ceiling heights, opened everything up, but comfort has not easily followed. In a lot of cases, I feel like homes are much worse than they used to be. I think the problem is that these bigger homes create space without purpose. So there's a lot of dead space. And there's like these weird areas that really don't belong to anything. Like they're not like a hallway. They're not really usable. It's just this dead space that stays empty. And then we're trying to figure out what to put in it. And like we have these big, large rooms, but because they don't have a lot of architectural detail or structure, they just fall apart and they just look like
Gotta love it when you pull up to a new build inspection like the one behind me and the project manager's out front and he comes out and he says, I don't even know why the client ordered a home inspection, but she's all yours. Well, I've heard that one before. Let's see if this house is in as good a shape as he thinks it is. Backyard, we have 2 windows. They look the same, but they're a lot different. Have a listen. Okay, let's start. The window on the right, this glass is solid. I mean, it's like the glass at a hockey rink. That glass is impact rated. This glass is not impact rated. You see the screws around the perimeter? Well, those are to hold fabric to protect this glass because in a high wind situation, this glass is going to break. This glass will not. And you can tell also because this glass is already broken.
Ooh.
Exhaust there. There's a dryer exhaust there. We got a dryer exhaust there. See that one? But on this house, there's no dryer exhaust on this side. There's not one on this side either. Well, maybe this house doesn't come with a dryer. Let's go find out. Hey, looks like this house does come with a dryer. Okay, I have made my way up here into the attic and I have found, here is that PVC line. There's the plumbing vent pipe that was sticking out. And here, ta-da, you see this? This is the dryer exhaust. So they ran the vent in the attic and man, it sure looks like it's going through the roof, but it's not. Nope.
That's a problem.
Definitely not. Hey, before I get out of this attic, you see this bracing member here that shoots across, and then there's a little one here. Now, this is directly above the attic access. Can't have that. We need clear working space above this.
That is terrible.
Another brand new neighborhood going in. And if you look behind me, it's all wood frame. So if you're coming down to Florida to build your dream home, just know it's probably going to be your biggest nightmare. Let me show you why.
Nope. Gotta seal those penetrations. Nope. Good Lord. Look at this craftsmanship.
Wow.
That's nice. A bunch of these panels aren't even flush. Look at that. Nope. Water pressure needs to be between 40 and 80 psi.
Jeez.
We are below 20. Really? Missed a spot. Nope.
Who is building these homes?
No.
My entire week got completely hijacked from one issue on our new custom home build, and this is one of the most difficult parts about building custom. There are always going to be issues. There is no way of knowing what problems you are going to run into during the build, and it's going to be different for everyone. But
Have a look at this, and this is considered an act of God by the builder. Okay. Knowing this house is brand new.
So with the driving rain that we've had the last couple of days, this floor is soaked. And as you can see, baseboard's swollen up. And right outside this window is the corner of the home where the prevailing wind was pushing all the water, but act of God according to the builder. Also another area, the front of the home, remarkably, another act of God in this brand new home.
So what do you think?
Missing a door stopper. The upstairs railings are
$900,000 for this home.
Again, looks like a letter to children. If I don't physically stand on your cabinets, you're not getting the top-notch experience. You're not getting the inspector night experience. This is damaged. this is damaged, and this is damaged. And this one ain't got a light. So we have no weep holes above the doorway brick lintels as well as the window brick lintels.
The sink's faucet is loose at the countertop. You already know. Needs to be fixed. Windows that are installed less than 24 inches of the door are required to have safety glass. A good way to tell is you will find an etching in one of the corners, but not on this one.
This is loose. A foam sealed attic with no ventilation source.
Okay, so apparently with new construction homes, you are supposed to get the house like re-inspected before your warranty is up, because basically you can have the builder come fix things before literally it's out of warranty. So I've been thinking about that now, as if you can believe it or not, it is almost 1 year since I have lived in this house. I built this house all through last year, moved in July. So we're in May, which means, oh my gosh, my hair will not stick in this clip. But
$500,000 and 2.5 years later, and this is what you get. This isn't even the worst part. I'll show you the worst part and tell you who the builder is. This crack started forming at the door crack, and then it was about here, and we've been monitoring it, and it's gone to here. That isn't even the worst part. The worst part is the door doesn't shut because it gets stuck up here. The door has shifted, and the crack is forming on the opposite side, which also started about here and has extended, and the door casing separating. And you see this chip mark right here where the door is catching. So you tell me.
This is why you gotta come.
This is the #1 reason new construction home buyers regret their purchase. One of my clients came to us for a second opinion because their mortgage payment went from only $3,200 a month all the way up to $5,400, and they have no idea why. They didn't refinance, they didn't miss a payment, and their interest rate stayed the same. So what happened? The problem was escrow, because when they bought their new home,
real estate market
it was
is
a new
insane.
construction. But unfortunately, the taxes they were shown at closing were estimated on the land only, and
What's up? Listen.
You gotta stop scrolling. Take a look at this new build behind me. The one that doesn't have any grass. I just finished this inspection, and believe it or not, this is difficult for me to say. I only found 2 things wrong with this entire house. Now, before you go and say, oh, he must not be very thorough, he doesn't know what he's doing, go ahead and look at some of my other videos and then get back to me on that. And this is what it would look like if you didn't put sod down in your front yard. Isn't it beautiful?
Looks like dirt. Pretty sturdy.
Good. Woo. And here's issue number 1. That's number 1. Here's number 2. Now this is absolutely shocking. This is unheard of. And as an inspector, it's kind of hard because you feel kind of bad leaving only finding 2 loose shower heads, but we got to go on with our lives. But this water heater behind me is called a hybrid water heater. It takes the heat from the garage, the hot garage, and it transports it into the water. It uses the hot air in the garage to heat the water. This is pretty neat. This aluminum ladder behind me, which gives you access into the attic, is rated for 375 pounds. It's not that cheap, wobbly wooden ladder you see in most new builds. This is money well spent. The ceramic tile throughout the house, the undercab lighting, but to me, most impressive, look at this. They actually vent the kitchen to the outside. Nice. I'm telling you, most builders don't do this. I know it's wild, but it's true. It's like, gotta love it when you pull up to a new build inspection, like the one behind me, and the client's already on site. he gets out of his car and he comes up to me and he says, hey, Jordan, the last house I purchased, well, it wasn't a new build. The inspector came highly recommended from a buddy of mine, and turns out he wasn't all that good of an inspector because
of course,
several $1,000s later, here I am trying to buy a new build. A real estate agent and my dad both said they probably wouldn't even do a home inspection because it's a new build, but I saw your videos on TikTok and I thought I'd hire you. I said, well, that's amazing. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Let's have some fun. Okay, where to start? How about we start here at this condensate and all this water up against the house. Let's extend that.
Can be a problem.
And wow, they did a real, look at that. It's just like a bunch of gum they sticked in that hole. And here's the insulation, but oh, it gets a little choppy here. Want to get that cleaned up. And how about some paint here, some paint here, some paint behind this box, and oh, you can see the electrical. Here's the grinder pump. I love saying grinder pump. Let's see here. This is broken, and here's the ground rod that you can run over with your lawnmower. Not sure what's going on with the framing around this garage. Got a decent gap there, and then it runs all the way across. A little crack here.
Wow.
And then it doesn't go all the way across here, so this board's not really rested on anything. Well, the wood got a little chewed up down here.
It sure did.
And here we got the leaning tower of water heaters. Well, not only is this wall not straight, but the dishwasher's leaking.
That's a no.
Lump, 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 lump. More lumps. This door is pretty awesome. Literally, this is the bedroom here, and all you gotta do is shut the door, and then you don't even need the doorknob. You can just push it right open. This carpet seam would drive me nuts. Just got up into the attic, and the AC was running, and now it's shut off. And I think it has something to do with all this sitting water up here in the condensate tray.
Whoa.
Here's the dryer vent. Looks like somebody put a boot into it. Gotta love the modern day attic lights, the recessed cans up, turned on its side. That's nice. Now you gotta be real careful when you're running these ducts and strapping them, supporting them. If you strap them like this, it actually can restrict airflow. And here's what happens when the HVAC guy runs the electrical to the air handler. These lines need insulated.
Insulation.
Can't say I love this gap here above this outlet. It's a good idea to throw some sealant on top of these exposed roof fasteners. Keeps them from becoming water entry points in the future. I'd even throw some sealant here.
Yeah, there's a big problem in America with so many new homes being built specifically in states like, Florida or Texas. And a lot of these construction workers, they're not doing their job properly.
Just to cut the cake. This cake cut at a rooftop bar in LA. They cut the cake for us, and you want to guess how much it cost?
How much is it?
Claimed on just cake cutting, $110 just to cut the cake.
Whoa.
Do not cut the cake, and they were like, yeah, we can store it, no problem. And then they cut it for us, and then boom, $110. Like, at least tell us. Had this
spending $15 at least if you want to get a proper full meal, and that's just not sustainable.
Gen Z are eating out less because even fast food is getting too expensive.
It's really
the price that has stopped me. That spells trouble for big chains like Chipotle, which is having a harder time getting Gen Z through the door. The brand hasn't sold as much as it was expecting to this year.
What we've noticed is a category slowdown for the 25 to 34-year-olds that are under the most financial pressure.
And Chipotle isn't the only chain noticing a pullback. McDonald's recently said it isn't expecting as many sales from low-income diners next year. So how did fast food go from budget-friendly to overly expensive?
We are seeing higher labor costs, higher food costs, and therefore the average eater check when you go out is higher than it has been in years past.
The price of ground beef, for example, has skyrocketed. 1 kilogram now costs more than $14. 5 years ago, that number was closer to $9. So a lot of these chains are trying to win back cost-conscious consumers with promotions. Burger King says it's seeing more traffic from meal deals like this one. And a recent survey shows that Gen Z says promotions are a major consideration when they're choosing a restaurant.
We know that younger people, they're looking for value meals. So this is one strategy that a lot of restaurants are using to remain competitive.
The thing is, a good meal deal at one particular restaurant won't necessarily keep a customer coming back.
They may not be brand loyal, so they'll switch to different brands based on the value
True, that is true.
They might also just be snacking more. You know, girl dinner.
Having girl dinner again tonight.
Young people in particular.
Spending
Nearly 40% of Americans are eating out less than last year, and it's crushing restaurants nationwide. A new YouGov study reveals the harsh reality. 8 in 10 Americans say restaurant prices have risen noticeably in the past 12 months. And the result? Well, diners are sharing meals or skipping drinks or even staying home more often. Restaurant owner Derek Kitchen in Salt Lake City knows this struggle firsthand.
Inflation itself really took a lot out of us, and then the tariffs kind of brought us to our knees, to be honest with you.
And it's the same with Ying Nance, owner of Chubby Baker.
Cost of goods has gone up 35%, and payroll has gone up like 39%.
Immigration policies, well, they're making things worse. Arizona restaurant owner Adriana Zapata is seeing customers and workers just disappear.
Right after the
KFC is losing it. Their prices for chicken meals their prices are off the charts. KFC is one of those things where, I get a craving for it a couple times a year. Love it. And so I popped by and I got an 8-piece meal. Right? So 8 pieces of chicken, 2 big sides, and 4 biscuits and gravy. The woman behind the register says, okay, that'll be $36.80. $36.80. I was like, oh, I thought it was like $22. Well, that was for the chicken only. What has happened? I know prices for everything has gone up, but seriously, almost $37 for an 8-piece bucket of chicken with some sides.
Very expensive all over.
And there's no smaller size, except for those little boxes. No wonder 2 of them in my area have.
Russell Regals pulled 3 huge beef briskets out of the post oak smoke, carried them to the counter to be sliced pencil thick, piled high on a bun, and delivered to another satisfied customer, all the while knowing that lunch order just ate him for lunch.
Are you making any money right now serving beef?
No.
None at all?
None at all, even though we charge $35 a pound.
Brisket is the star of the state's barbecue scene, but Regal's cost for the once cheap cut of beef has climbed from $3.60 a pound in 2020 to more than $6.50 today.
Some people would say, well, just raise your prices.
Well, the American people can't afford it always. If I raised brisket to where I needed it to be right now, it would be $42 a pound.
Ultimately, Texas barbecue is about brisket.
Michael Fulmer is the co-founder of the Houston Barbecue Festival. The cost of beef, he says, is already starting to change the state's barbecue tradition.
You're a family of 4, you love barbecue, and you want to take your family out. That becomes a special occasion as opposed to a regular dining experience.
That's right.
And that's an important shift.
So I really think we're entering the era of the end of fast food, because with the prices nowadays, who's going to continue to justify being able to eat food that you already know is not good for you and also pay a lot for it?
Oh, it's changed dramatically. I used to walk out, if I just took me, my wife, and my oldest 2 boys, 15 years ago to the Mexican restaurant, I rolled out of there
with a good meal,
maybe $60, and that's me and the wife having a beer in there too. Now, dude, I don't get out of there.
$60 might just be you.
I barely get out of there. It's usually over $100.
Right.
Whew, not anymore.
It's changed.
So I was just brutally reminded why I don't go out to eat anymore. I went and met someone for lunch, went to Outback Steakhouse. I literally ordered a salad with grilled chicken on it. Pretty good sized salad, but it's all lettuce and tomato and some bacon bits. I had literally 4 little strips of grilled chicken on there. I drank water. My bill with the tip was $25. What in the world's going on? So even the restaurants.
What's an overpriced restaurant that you'll never understand the hype for?
And this could be a chain or standalone restaurant. What's an overpriced restaurant that you'll...
I think we can all.
This is the signature burrito here. Nearly every ingredient that goes into it has doubled in cost, and that's the reason why the owner says so has its price. The price of nearly everything he uses to make his food has gone up, like onions, for example.
Before COVID, they were like $9 a sack at Restaurant Depot. I used to pick them up. During COVID and after, it's $40. Right now, it's $80.
The customers we talked with say they've noticed the higher prices, but they're okay with that for now.
If it just takes, us as consumers to pay a little bit more to support people's dreams and get, really good food back, then that's fine with me.
This is the signature burrito here.
You want to know why your sandwich costs so much at the local restaurant? My friend Dan sent me a text the other day. He was at one of my restaurants. He said, Brian, I just ordered a BLT at $16. You realize it's just bread, bacon, lettuce, and tomato. I said, yeah, Dan, but let me give you some restaurant perspective. In today's economy, my rent is $20,000 a month. My utilities are $6,000 a month. And my labor is currently running about $60,000 a month. That's at 28%. So I'm in for $86,000 a month before I sell a single sandwich. At a 32% food cost, I have about $11 profit in that sandwich. That means I have to sell 93,800 sandwiches a year, or 257 a day, just to break even and make no money. 1.5 million in revenue, and I don't make a dime.
We got to talk about something, guys. The prices in Miami are out of control. I can't believe it. I said to our girl the other day, like, this is crazy what is going on. I said, how do regular people do it? And the truth is they don't, right? They don't. And that's it. Wealth disparity. Mark my words. We'll come back to that. That's the biggest issue. But I'm here. Let me give you a couple data points before I get back to that, right? So I just had dinner at an Italian joint. A nice place. Huh? You can see it. I'm on Lincoln Road. It's a nice place. Not the fanciest place. And we're not trying to be a fancy place. Okay. I had an appetizer and an entree, right? In Miami, they add the 20% because of the Eurozone tip. How much do you think it was? It was $82. I didn't have a drink. I drank water. I had bread. Okay, that's crazy. Let me back that up again. Last night, I felt like Mexican. I went to a Mexican joint. It was a cute little Mexican joint. And Miami doesn't have fancy Mexican joints. It doesn't have that many great Mexican joints. It wasn't great. Just good, basic Mexican food. This place, I had nachos and a chicken fajita. How much do you think it was? It was $64. How do regular people do this? They can't afford it. I'm not in New York City. I'm not in London. I'm not in Petty. I'm in Miami. And even with the tourist premium and the gringo pricing, it's out of control. So let's get back to the real problem. As I always tell you guys, mark my words, put it on the record. The biggest issue now and in the future is wealth disparity. The rich have too much, the poor have too little. And I don't care what country you're talking about or what civil war that's going on, the issue that they are fighting about is wealth disparity, and it's only going to get worse. And these people are going to revolt. The poor do not just roll over and say, cool.
It's like $100 to go to Chick-fil-A to eat. The cost of everything nowadays is so absurd. It's crazy to try to go out to dinner as a family, let alone if they want to order like a soda at dinner. But take a great example. If we went to Chick-fil-A even as a family, I can't get out of Chick-fil-A now as a family of 7. What we've seen happen is they all raised their prices during COVID when food costs were up. But then as things kind of came back down, a lot of these restaurants never lowered their prices. We're just used to paying more from back then, and we're continuing to pay more. It's absurd. I had lunch at Panera the other day, and Panera is great, but it was over $20. I don't drink soda, so this was $20 for just some food for lunch. It's like $100 to go to Chick-fil-A to eat. The cost of everything nowadays is so absurd.
These restaurants are getting out of hand. The food quality is dropping. The prices keep going up. And then on the tab, you have to, pay service fees. You got to pay this, that. And then you also got to tip, right? You have to be generous. So here's a question I have for you. There's a similar culture in e-commerce where people would add shipping costs. And what happened was that when you were ordering something, you'll go all the way towards the shipping.
What's an overprice?
When the hell did Dunkin' Donuts get so expensive? We have this thing in our office where, if you have a day where you're running late or something, bring in donuts and then, you're good. And I'm running a little late. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. I don't usually run late, but I'll get donuts. So I get to the checkout counter and I'm like, yeah, 2 dozen and a coffee, please. Thinking, $1 a donut, $24, $3 coffee, 27 plus tax, $30 max.
Okay.
She rings me up, $45 for this. $45. News to me, looks like I'll never be late again.
I actually dig that rule. I'm just gonna say that. Like, if you're running late, as long as you bring in donuts for everybody, you're good. As long as you don't abuse it, of course. But $45? It's expensive to be tardy at that company.
Do you remember when eating fast food was like cheap? Well, as a family of 5, there's honestly nothing cheap anymore. But Portillo's, if you guys know Portillo's, it's like cheeseburgers, chicken sandwiches, chicken tenders, Italian beef, hot dogs. So fast food style food.
Okay.
It's not like a nice sit down restaurant. For a family of 5, for each of us to get a meal, $100. So $100 to go eat fast food. Is that not
person.
insane? What restaurants did you guys used to love that, you know, was affordable, but now it's definitely not affordable? Like, I can't finish a lacrosse game and just be like, oh, let's go to Portillo's for dinner, because I don't want to spend $100 on a random weeknight on food. Do you remember when...
Have you noticed your favorite restaurants cutting back on things? Things that they think you won't notice, but I noticed. Even the busiest restaurants that were doing very well are not doing well. So I'm just going to name the restaurant, Bottega Louie in West Hollywood. One of my favorite dishes there, bolognese. I know, sounds like I'm being very bourgeois. But let me tell you something. First of all, they were out of a certain pasta dish that's very Italian, and it has a specialized noodle. Then the waiter told me, oh, we've actually been out of the pasta for over a week now. They also have the most...
How much does a restaurant have to overcharge you for you to say something? Or do you think you should always say something no matter what? Because this happened to me last night, and it's the first time I ever didn't say something. The thing that I ordered was $24, and it was $24 at the menu online and at the menu in the restaurant, because like sometimes those can be different. But then when I got the check at the end, I was charged for $27. And so the first thing I did was I checked all the other items we'd been charged for, and it looked like no other items were overcharged. So I was like, why could this have been? Like, I had substituted my side for something else, but like the waitress had said I could do that. She didn't say there was going to be an extra charge, and usually that would be listed separately. So normally in a situation like this, I'm all about the principle, because like at first glance it's only $3, but like when you do the math, that's like a 12.5% upcharge, which is a lot. Like there have been times before when I've been like at a store and it's like a 20-cent price difference, and I point it out because I'm like, it's the principle. Like, you're a giant corporation, you don't need any more of my money than you're already getting. But last night I was with 2 other people, like we were paying all together, and I was like, if I was alone right now, like I would definitely say something, but like being with 2 other people, I just don't want to be that person right now. Like I had quickly mentioned it to my friend in the moment, and she was kind of like, yeah, but it's fine, like it's only $3. And I was like, yeah, I guess. But now I just keep thinking about it, because I'm like, that feeling of like not wanting to be that person is the exact reason why companies get away with it.
I think if people understood how hard it was to make money in this business, they would be a lot more hesitant to accuse restaurants of price gouging. We're often asking how little we can charge for something, not how much. It would be nice if people understood that, but I don't expect them to. It's like, you know, it's not their job to understand that. But it is our job to convince them that we are delivering value. There's so many impressive things vying for people's attention, and so you have to give something that does provide value, or else you're not going to survive.
Spotting restaurant surcharges. They are fees which can be anywhere from 3 to 4% on your bill. Ooh. Now, it may not sound like a lot, but if your check is $200, that could be an additional $8, a cost you may not want to deal with as inflation persists.
That is right, Jason. Restaurants say you can usually get these fees taken off the check if you ask, but consumer advocates say you at home shouldn't have to do that.
That's right.
Meanwhile, restaurants are standing by these fees. Now we're here to show you what to watch out for before your next reservation. The I-Team spent 2 months dining out.
Let's do it.
We found surcharge after surcharge on dozens of Chicago area restaurant bills, the charges adding up.
Depending on the price of the bill, the 3 to 4% fee ranged anywhere from about 50 cents to $10. Ooh. At many restaurants, the surcharge started during COVID-19, restaurants saying that it helped cover the rising costs.
Now, more than a year and a half after the pandemic officially ended, we found that dozens of restaurants continue to tack on extra fees.
I think that's sneaky.
Customers we spoke with say they're fed up with the charges and that the rules which state you can take the charge off of the bill should be clearer.
If they can take it off, then you should let them know that.
Some bills we collected do remind consumers that it's a charge to offset operating costs and that you can request it to be removed.
I would never ask them to remove it.
Why not? Would it make you feel bad?
Yeah, I would feel bad.
Other customers say that the cost should be more upfront or in the menu items.
That's a lot on the bill. What are you hearing from consumers about these miscellaneous surcharges, these fees? Is this something they're okay with?
Overall, consumers are pretty fed up.
Kevin Brassler is the executive editor of Consumers Checkbook, a nonprofit organization that empowers consumers to save money. He says many restaurants are adding surcharges to avoid raising their menu prices.
That's a shame. There are also a ton, and I'm talking about a ton of bad, just straight up scam car dealerships that are basically robbing people, robbing everyday Americans, and setting it up for financial distress.
I decided to treat myself to my first car, a 2014 Mercedes A180.
You don't really need that at 18 years old.
When I was buying my car, we didn't even have a family car. I thought it would be a good idea for me to spend a little bit more on a nicer car that will last long. Unfortunately, I was wrong because it's caused me too much of a financial burden.
First of all, if you drive any type of luxury vehicle, BMW, Mercedes, anything super out of the ordinary of your common daily driver, and you live in an apartment, you shouldn't be the one financially making those decisions. Because how do you have a whole family in a brand new BMW in a one-bedroom apartment?
Makes sense.
Make it make sense to me. Make it make sense. I don't know if you agree with me or you don't, but I think that's just a stupid ass investment to be like, yeah, I'm gonna go take out this brand new car and live in this one bedroom apartment with like all of my kids and my wife. That doesn't make sense. I don't understand why there's people that want to like live that type of life.
Today I decided I'm going to be cashing out my entire retirement.
Whoa, what?
I recently discovered, which I should have researched earlier, that my retirement is doing really well because
Okay, well, you're not supposed to cash it out.
16% of my mutual funds are invested in BlackRock, and it doesn't sit well with me. And I don't believe in this system anymore anyway.
It seems like a bad excuse,
If you
but
don't know,
okay.
I'm saying
What is one bad financial decision that you regret making in life?
Probably like crashing into someone's car because I had to low-key pay a lot.
How'd you crash into someone's car?
Well, the crashed into me, but
Then how'd you have to pay for that?
because I didn't have insurance, so that shit fucked me over, yeah.
And what kind of car did you have at the time being? What is one bad financial decision that you regret making in life?
Definitely avoiding taxes. I did that for like about 2 years. I avoided paying taxes. IRS tried to start coming for me, but...
Moments before maxing at the credit card.
Just spent 10K at Apple. Guys, get in the live. Somebody's gonna win these for $50.
Moments before maxing at the credit card.
Just spent 10K at Apple. Guys, get in the live. Somebody's gonna win these for $50.
No way.
One of my buddies got... What is one bad...
Here are the two worst financial mistakes I ever made. And this is coming from a normal person. I'm not super financially successful, but I'm also not a disconnected rich person who's going to tell you, well, after I sold my 6th property, then I didn't quite get the return on the 7th property. No, it's nothing like that. For people that are closer to my situation, you know, you're starting to have some money that you're looking to save up or invest or whatever. These are two of the worst mistakes I ever made. Number 1, sports gambling. Don't do it. The only way I can tell you it's okay to sports gamble is if you have a healthy relationship with gambling, and that is that like you can put the occasional small amount of money on a game to, you know, just kind of have a good time with your friends or something like that. Gambling is an addiction just like any drug, just like anything else. But instead of hurting your body or your brain, it's going to kill your bank account. It is a sickness. It will get into your brain and it will destroy your financial life way faster than you realize. Like my story with gambling was when I first started gambling on sports, I went up $7,000 within the first 4 months, right? The needle was in me, okay? I was like, oh, I could probably never work again. I could just do this full time, blah, blah, blah. Going insane, okay? Probably within...
Delusional.
A month or two of gaining that $7,000, I had lost all of it. and then also down an additional $1,000. And then ever since that point, all I did was lose. I would win a little bit, and then I would lose twice that amount. Until eventually I lost $12,000.
Might be a
So
skill
it's like
issue, though.
alcohol. If you can maintain a very healthy, moderate relationship with it, then that's fine. But as soon as you understand that it's becoming a problem, as soon as you understand that it's becoming an addiction, you cannot do it.
This truck was one of the worst financial decisions of my life, and let me tell you why. I bought it a little over a year ago. At the time, I purchased it for around $125,000. I put down around $50,000, and my payment came out to around $1,375 per month. Currently, I still owe around $69,000 on the balance. This truck's current value is probably $80,000 max if I want to go sell it.
Max, buddy.
Let's do some quick math.
Max.
I put down $50,000. I've been paying $1,375 for a little over a year. That's around $17,000 in payments. So I'm around $67,000 into this truck.
Property.
Now, like I said, if I go to sell it, if I want to do a quick cash offer from a dealership, I'm gonna get $75,000. If I want to, take my time, sell it on the secondhand market, I'll probably get around $80,000. So I owe $69,000. So I'm gonna get back around 9 to 15K. Let's call it 10K just to be on the conservative side. I'm gonna get back 10K on this truck. Now we get back 10K, let's subtract that from the $67,000 that I've put into this truck. That's $57,000 to own this truck for a little bit over a year. That is upwards of $5,000 a month to own a $100,000 truck. Guys, that is insane. I could have been
Very
renting a
much insane,
Rolls
but it's your
Royce for that
fault.
much a month. So now let's do the math. If I would have put that $57,000 into Section 8 real estate instead of buying this truck. So that $57,000 could have got me 3 Section 8 properties. Each of those properties cash flowing right around $500 a month. So with those 3 properties, I would have made $18,000 in that year of ownership. So instead of making $18,000, I lost $57,000.
What is one bad
I co-host a call-in personal finance show called The Ramsey Show, and here are the 3 biggest money mistakes I see people make. Number 1 has to do with cars. Either they roll negative equity from a past car loan into a new one, so they will have a $75,000 car loan.
Yep.
And the car is worth like $45,000. Or they're like, yeah, I just bought a $35,000 car and I had to get a loan because my car broke down, so I went on the car lot and I got, sold this car. And it like happened with them not even realizing it, and then they regret it so much. So with cars, you know me, pay cash. Okay, I'm not a fan of debt in cars. So whatever you got to do to maneuver that, it is worth it, because people make big mistakes with cars. Big mistakes. Huge. As Julia Roberts would say. Number 2, they combine money with people they're not married to. Yes, so they pay a mortgage, their boyfriend's mortgage, but their name's not on the house. And when boyfriend's like, all right, our relationship's done, they built no equity for themselves. Nothing.
Who would do
or
that?
they
That
pay
makes
on each
no
other's
sense.
debts. And they've combined their lives like they're married and they're not. So there's no legal protection if there's no legal marriage. So do not combine your money with someone you are not married to. And number 3, it's a little broad, but especially people trying to get out of debt, they go backwards sometimes and they're like, I just never can get ahead, because I always end up going back into debt because of an emergency. And when debt is still an option in your life, there's a good chance you're probably going to do it, because in the moment, if an emergency comes up, you're not having to think through other options. You're just like, okay, yeah, take out the personal loan or charge it on the credit card. We'll worry about it later. So a lot of people think, and then they look up and think, oh my gosh, how did I get all this debt? So when debt is off the table, it forces you to be creative about your options. It forces you to think through solutions that you probably wouldn't have. And it probably forces some level of sacrifice. So the car breaks down and it's like, crap, we have to save, an extra $1,000 or $2 to get this fixed. A lot of people just go take debt, get the car fixed, and then pay it off later.
Ooh, no.
When debt's not on the table, then you're like, all right, we could be a 1-car family for a hot second. We could sell some stuff. We could cut things out of the budget and find margin. We could work a little extra here. Like, it just forces you to create other options in your life, so you're not continually digging yourself into a deeper hole financially.
What is one bad financial decision that you're gonna make in life?
Bro, getting approved for a credit card.
How's that a bad financial decision?
Bro, when you get approved for like 10K, you forget about everything. You just on the card, and then
realize how much money I've lost past few years by making bad decisions. And so today I want to air out my bad mistakes and decisions that I've made. I had somebody come up to me telling me that there was a penny stock investment. He sold me a dream. He showed me how penny stocks in something trees and forest, and first rule is like, don't give money to somebody you don't really trust, and 2, don't invest in something that you don't really trust. Like, I trusted this person, but it was like my friend. I just thought it was a cool investment opportunity, and he told me like, oh my gosh, when you put this much in, you'll make this much back. So I put in $17,000, and he was like, you're gonna make back $107,000 in like a year. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure, like let's just see how it goes. I went through that one PowerPoint one time. About a year later, I asked about it. I'm like, hey, like, did the stock go live? Like, what is happening with that? I don't even get emails. I have no idea what I invested into. Like, I just literally handed you a $17,000 check. I never got anything back, and any dividends. Like, I was supposed to get some money back or something. And he was like, yeah, well, actually, it ended up plummeting, and they didn't go live, not happening. And I was like,
rug pulled.
That's weird. I didn't even get any paperwork for it as well, and so I have no idea until this day if it was a scam or if my own friend scammed me, or like if it was even a real thing. But it was like a 100-page PowerPoint on like this company that you could have invested into that was like going public. I have no idea, but that was the first red flag. Like, don't go and invest into something that you have no idea what it's about. I didn't even know what industry it was in. Like, it was something about for trees.
Also, a huge problem with the current cost of living crisis in America. Things are just so expensive.
How is anyone in the South surviving? I grew up in the South. I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama. I lived in Brooklyn for 10 years, and now I'm in Los Angeles. I'm a recording artist there. But I always think and assume that my cost of living in California is so much higher than anywhere else. And, you know, I filled up my tank before I left, and it was $6.69 at the pump, which is extremely expensive. I also have to put premium gas in my car. And I am single. I pay for everything myself. So in that way, my costs are high. But I am at my parents' house outside of Atlanta, and they're out of town. So I wanted to get some groceries so that I can cook for when they're back tomorrow, so that there's food ready, right? So I work mostly from home, both as a recording artist, but also as a tarot reader and astrologer. And therefore, like, when
we're in a depression right now, but the only reason why it's not called that is because the wealthy people are wealthier than they've ever been. It's not a depression for the rich people. They're doing fantastic. During the Great Depression, the average cost of a home was about $4,900, which today is about $90,000. That was about 3 times the average person's wages. In 2026, today, the average cost is about $410,000, which is about 8 times the average person's wages.
How is everyone affording life? Real question. How are you guys doing it? Because my daycare costs the same as our mortgage, which is just wild to me. And I had a crash out earlier today just about how like really expensive everything really truly is. And I just don't know how you guys are doing it. So I have a corporate 6-figure job. I should be able to afford life. We're not doing anything wrong, just life is expensive. And I'm the breadwinner in my household. There's this like constant stress, like hanging over my head all the time of you gotta.
How are we surviving in this economy? How? Please, like, okay, I just feel like I need to come on here and really show what it's like trying to survive as a single income family. Okay, we live in Nebraska. I can't work because I can't afford childcare. Childcare is gonna cost more for my 3 kids than what I'm gonna make a month. Everything I've looked at, $3,000 a month for my 3 kids to go to daycare.
It is actually diabolical that even 90K, 100K feels unlivable, especially when you take taxes out. It's like $60,000 a year. After taxes, you're looking at like $2,500 bi-weekly, so like $5,000 a month. With roommates and without roommates, you're still looking at between like $1,600 to $3,000 if you live by yourself. And that's just to like have a roof over your head. Which is crazy because in the entirety time that I've ever made over 6 figures, I have always worked so many side jobs just to like save money. Meanwhile, back when I was like 21, I was making like $30,000 to $40,000 a year being a nurse in South Carolina.
Okay.
Tell me how like I was even surviving on that, and I felt like I was having so much fun, and now like that feels like nothing. I'm not living beyond my means. I have the same car that I've had for 11 years. I feel like I'm buying less groceries, and my groceries still cost way more than I ever did before. Like with Spirit going away, Delta removing their drink and food services, the world is getting far more expensive, and we're getting nothing in return.
So one of the saddest things I've noticed over the past few years in Canada isn't even financial anymore. It's psychological.
It's in Canada too.
It's social. It's emotional. People are slowly cutting all the joy out of their lives just to survive financially.
Alice?
Hey, check out what I got. I stayed under budget. Okay, here we've got 10 avocados, 20 aluminum make a little mango pyramid here.
Yeah, we're gonna be eating good.
Whoops. So add a little mangoes. They just keep coming, and it's like avocados here. I got these tangerines. These awesome, yummy tangerines. 3 bell peppers. Oh, limes. I totally didn't mention the limes. And don't stop. 2 bunches of cilantro.
Nice.
$25 an hour isn't a living wage in 2026 when a few groceries from the store cost $70, when people are paying anywhere from $80 to $200 a week for gas, when the median rent prices are anywhere from $1,500 to $1,700 a month. It's no longer obtainable. It literally feels like working anymore is a scam, and you're selling all of your time for nothing. You're flushing your entire life down the toilet, and you're not even getting anything out of it anymore. A few short years ago, people were able to comfortably get by on $25 an hour. Now it's completely out of the water.
If you live in New York and you're making $300 grand a year, you're basically in poverty. Let me break it down. $300,000 a year, federal tax, state tax, city tax, and FICA. After taxes, you're at $185 grand. In a city where your rent is $4,000 a month for a 1-bedroom, that's $48,000 a year just to have a roof over your head. And parking, that's another $6 grand a year. Food, groceries, restaurants, that's another $25,000 a year. Health insurance, premiums, copays, $10 grand. Utilities, phone, internet, $5,000. Student loans, another $12,000, $15,000 a year.
Do you understand that in the 70s, a man can go and get a full-time 40-hour job at a factory? Name your fucking industry. I don't care. Name your industry. 40-hour job at a factory, and then he could turn around, go home. If not only could he pay all his bills in a week to a week and a half.
This is a PSA for all of the privileged, rich, wealthy Americans.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Bridget. I'm 32 years old. I work full-time. And my paycheck does not give me enough to even get the bare minimums, okay? I had a savings account, and I just had to use about half of it just to get by until my next paycheck.
Wow.
Okay, and the reality of that is once my savings is gone, I don't have a crutch. I don't have any more crutches. And the stress of going grocery shopping, y'all, I'm at Aldi, okay, which is quite literally probably one of the cheaper grocery options. And the way that I have to pinch my pennies just to make sure I have enough food until the next paycheck is quite literally wild. So to all of
I'm a mother with 3 kids, and I can only afford a 1-bedroom apartment for all 4 of us. Let me show you where we sleep and how I make it work. Okay. And don't call the police on me. I'm doing the best I can. So basically, this is the living room area. This is the dining room area. I do have to get my table that's coming later today, but this is a drop-down bed, futon table. My back camera is shit, so I'm sorry if you can't see that. That flips up and that goes down. It's really comfy. It's thick. It's not thin. One of the kids lay there. I do have a wraparound couch. Okay. And no lie, I probably sleep on that most of the time.
Reality is going to smack this girl right in the face, I'm afraid. So one of my goals as a parent was to fund my daughter's education, any of my children that wanted to go to school. I wanted to fund their education without them having to work while they went to school, because that was not my experience, and I wanted them to be able to do that. I wanted them to be able to go to school without having to worry about having a job, especially a full-time job like I did, and just do the college thing. Okay, so my daughter is the one. She chose to go, and she chose to go for 6 years, and she lived on campus. And while she lived on campus, we paid the bills, and she had a credit card for groceries and gas, and we paid all of the things.
Wow.
And now she's done. And she's done with mommy's credit card too. So reality is going to hurt, I'm afraid. Because, we sat down, we did a budget with her, and it's expensive to get by. It's real expensive to get by. Yes. And sadly,
Hey, what's up, America? The cost of living in America is so high that people have basically stopped spending. So let me explain what I mean. So the cost of living here in the United States has gotten so high that people have virtually quit spending money on everything except necessity.
It is insane to me how many of our friends have these lavish vacations, will do crazy landscaping, crazy home remodels, date night every weekend, paying for a sitter, going to trendy restaurants. You can't have a nice dinner in Austin with like a couple drinks that's under $400 at like a trendy restaurant. And I'm like, where are they getting the money from? And then once in a while, after a few drinks, you come to find out that your friends laugh at you when you talk about retirement because they have none. They have nothing saved.
The cost of living in this country is currently, it's not going to be, it is currently unsustainable. And there are people that they know this, but then they'll still look at somebody else that's struggling and then tell them they're not doing good enough. I want you to imagine somebody that makes $75,000 a year. That's a pretty high up wage in terms of like top earners in this country, $75,000 a year. And we're going to go through some things here. This is a person with no debt outside of a car, and please don't hit me with the you can go buy a car for shut up, you can't, shut up, stop saying ridiculous things. An entry-level decent car is $30,000. So this person who puts $200 a month into insurance and they pay 5%.
I want to hear an economic breakdown of what's going to happen when boomers start going into assisted living facilities. Because people are living longer, they're eating through more of their savings. Boomers have shown they aren't going to leave a ton for inheritance, and for assisted living and memory care, that's very expensive. And so I feel like inheritances are going to continue to go down, down, down. And then on top of that, they aren't perishing in their homes anymore. They're usually selling their home to downsize or selling their home to go into these assisted living facilities. So people aren't really inheriting.
And this is giving the everyday Americans even more problems, especially down the line in the future, because obviously if things are higher and more expensive today, what does it mean for retirement? They can afford to retire, or they're going to retire at an even later age. So things are not looking that good.
I get home today from a beautiful day, and I get this in the mail from Social Security. They went ahead and signed me up for Medicare Part B. I'm turning 65 next month, but I don't need Part B because my husband is fully employed. So as of August 1st, they're going to be taking $284.10 out of my Social Security benefit. So we just called about it, and they said, oh yeah, they do this all the time. They just randomly sign you up for Social Security Part B, and then they take your money.
That's a shame.
And so that now I had to call, and now I have to fill out a form that's going to take 10 days to get to me, and then I may or may not be able to get an appointment with the Social Security office, and I have to literally fill out a form to cancel something I never signed up for. What the? Our government is so corrupt. They're stealing your money from you right and left. And if you don't pay attention, open your mail. Because if you're my age and you're on Social Security, or you're about to be, they're literally stealing from you. So yeah, that's my PSA today. Social Security, you suck.
This is a rant. Will you ever be able to stop working? Across the world, pension funds are running out of cash. In the US, the average retiree gets $2,071 a month from Social Security, a trust fund employees pay into while they're working. Problem is, it's emptying out.
The problem is that we are now seeing a lot more people drawing on that retirement fund than we're getting money put in.
Estimates are the US fund will run out of money in just 8 years. In Western Europe, state pensions are funded directly by working taxpayers, but they've got the same problem. There just aren't enough working people paying in.
In the 1960s, there were 5 workers to every retiree, so the US could afford broad-based, generous retirement provision. We're now below 3 workers per retiree.
One answer is to try and get people to save more into their own retirement accounts, but that assumes they've got any spare cash. A study this week in the UK showed 45% of working age people aren't saving into a pension at all. That means the next generation of pensioners will be a lot worse off than today's, and women approaching retirement only have half the average savings that men do. Another answer.
Why are millions of workers?
Social Security is a pay-as-you-go system, meaning workers pay for the people who are retired. So you're working hard right now, you see that FICA tax come out, 6.2% of your pay, your boss matches 6.2% of the pay. That goes to pay for your grandma's Social Security benefits. When there are tons of baby boomers working, we built up extra money that we didn't actually have to pay out. There were so many people working. Now, flipped on its head, the boomers are all retiring. Now we don't have enough money of all those reserves that built up to actually pay out the promised benefits. So this is a really important issue because we've been warning about this probably for about a dozen years, and it takes Congress to act. So it is not that the system is going broke. It's that those excess reserves that built up, those are going to be depleted.
So what happens in 2032?
Okay, so magic year 2032, which is oddly close to the year I would be claiming Social Security. What happens is the way Social Security is structured is that it automatically would mean that there are cuts to the promised benefits. Right. So that would mean a 22% reduction automatically going into effect. So can I just play this out?
Yeah.
Most Americans on average receive, let's say, a $2,000 monthly check.
Right.
That would mean as of 2032, you get a lopped off amount and it is reduced by 22%. So it's no longer your $2,000, right? It's now $1,540.
That's significant.
And that is so important. That's the part. So even if you've already claimed benefits, for people who are like, oh my God, I'm going to claim early, no matter what, every single person will take a 22% reduction.
So can anything be done to fix this? And are there any immediate actions?
Okay, so number one, it is fixable. It requires Congress. So that may mean that you feel like, oh my God, it's not fixable. Pound the phones, pound the emails, send your political representatives a note saying, I'm worried about this.
I've been saying this for years.
Absolutely. Okay, so what can they do? They can actually increase the amount of money on which FICA taxes are paid. That's the wage base. It could go from about $184,000. We could lift it to, say, $300,000. I know, not going to make a lot of people happy, but we have to pay for the system. We could actually say, hey, you know what? People have to work longer. But again, this is a tough one because if you are a blue collar worker and I'm saying, yeah, you got to work till you're 75, that doesn't make so much sense. Congress can fix the problem. Get on it. For right now, go to SSA.gov and check out your own benefit and make sure you're registered in the system. Social Security is a pay.
They're seriously considering working your ass past 70 years old, man. Past 70 years old, man. Can you imagine working in your 70s? See, some of y'all don't understand because you know y'all in your 30s and 40s and shit. But imagine not being able to fucking quit working because the retirement age done raised up. Wow. Well, you don't got no goddamn retirement because the Social Security out this motherfucker comes, man. It's a retirement crisis. I'm not working. True. I don't know. I'm not working past 70 years old. Somebody's gonna get robbed and scammed on. I'm gonna be a 70-year-old robbing, scamming ass individual out this motherfucker. You ain't forcing me to work past 70 years old. Ain't no goddamn way. They're seriously considering working your ass past 70 years old, man. Past 70 years old.
Because I don't think people are actually worried about turning 62 or 67. Retirement age right now is one of the fastest growing searches. And honestly, the more I think about it, the more I think that people are asking the wrong question. Because I don't think people are just sitting around wondering if they should retire at 62, 65, or 67.
It is true.
I think they're wondering something much deeper. Like, can I actually afford to retire? Because those are two completely different conversations. See, when I was younger, retirement felt like a date on the calendar. You worked hard, you saved money, you retired. Simple. But somewhere along the way, that conversation changed. Now people are looking at rising costs, market uncertainty, and retirement.
So let's go ahead and get into it. So I have often said that this country is headed for a retirement crisis. A retirement crisis, say in the next 5 to 10 years. It's bad. Especially as Gen X gets older and we head into retirement and are older, the youngest of us or the oldest of us are now 60. So now as we start getting into our 60s, there is going to be a real problem. Now,
we are living in.
So I am at one of my old jobs. I have a 401k, and they're about to start messing with y'all retirement. So talk to your accountant or whatever the case to figure out how to get your money pulled out, right? Of these 401ks and all that kind of stuff. So I contacted folks. Let me go ahead and pull this out. Do you know just on the withdrawal, I lost $5,000?
I'm 51 years old and I have no retirement saved. I raised my girls by myself. I worked multiple jobs. I did everything right. I paid the bills, I showed up, I kept the lights on, and every time life happened, a car repair, a medical bill, or a kid who needed something, I pulled from wherever I had set a tiny bit aside because that's what moms do. And then I took a $10,000 pay cut to protect my mental health because I was drowning. And somehow I ended up $10,000 in debt. Tell me how we can work.
I don't think people are afraid of retirement.
What do you think about retirement? Is retirement even something that's going to happen for a lot of people? I think a lot of people thought they were going to be able to retire until inflation started going crazy, and it's probably not even done. Inflation is just out of control.
Okay.
I don't even think they show us what real inflation is because the cost of living is just outrageous. Like, I don't even understand how people afford apartments these days. My mortgage is about $640, and then for the year I pay about $2,000 in taxes. But if my property value gets reassessed, those taxes are probably going to more than double. And my mortgage is really low, but there's people out there that are paying for the house I have, which is 4 bedrooms. Nice. I think a house like this would probably go for about $2,500 around my area.
And with the awful rise of inflation, some things that were once normal for us are no longer worth the money. Let's take a look.
These are 5 things that just are not worth the money anymore, according to a now deleted Reddit post. Number 1 is fast food. People are saying it's almost restaurant pricing. They don't want to use the app to get the deal, and it's literally cheaper to go to their local burger joint. Number 2 is concert tickets. There's just huge outrage all around here. Over $100 to sit on the grass, scalpers. What was once a normal middle-class outing now just is starting to feel like luxury entertainment that nobody can afford. Number 3 is rideshare services. They became normal, and they're now more expensive than taking the taxi. The internet basically ruined the deal here, said one commenter. Number 4 is streaming services. There's too many. The prices have gone up, and now you're literally paying for ads again. And number 5 is eating out in general, between drinks, appetizers, condiments, being extra. It's exhausting, and it's definitely not fast casual anymore. What else would you add to this list? These are 5 things that just are not worth the money anymore, according to a now deleted Reddit post. Number 1 is fast food. People are saying it's almost restaurant pricing. They don't want to use the app to get the deal, and it's literally cheaper to go to their local burger joint. Number 2 is concert tickets. There's just huge outrage all around here. Over $100 to sit on the grass, scalp.
In no particular order, here are a list of things that I no longer think are worth the money. 1, getting your nails done. I got my nails done for Easter with my girls, and why were my nails, just my nails, $110 before tip? No, not worth it. I absolutely will not. I loved them. They did a great job, but I'm not spending that to get my nails done, and I just not worth it for me. Number 2, mid-tier food. I'm talking Chipotle, BB Bop, the places where you go in. It's not like a drive-through fast food situation, but it's also not a sit-down restaurant. Those mid-tier foods, why am I paying $60 to feed my family? Absolutely not. I'm not spending $18 on Chipotle for myself. Absolutely not. That is another thing that is no longer worth the money. Number 3, and my last one, oil changes. Why is my oil change $200? I swear on my life, I used to be able to get an oil change for like $50. Like $200 for an oil change, out of this world. In no particular order, here are a list of things.
These are things that I think are no longer worth your money as someone who is a millennial and used to buy these things all the time. Number one, a coffee. Coffee, I remember, used to be like $3 to $4 or less, depending on, the kind of coffee. Nowadays, people are spending $9, $10 for a cup of coffee. That is insanity. This is why I only treat myself to coffees every once in a while, because I cannot justify paying $10 for a coffee. Going out to eat. I used to go out to eat all the time with my partner. Between the two of us, it would cost between $20 and $40.
Whoa.
Nowadays, if I want to go out for brunch or dinner, it's easily $100. The food back then used to be decent, and now the portions are smaller and more expensive, and it's just not worth it. Next, we're going to talk about tech. There's something called planned obsolescence. For example, let's take Apple, because I have an iPhone. Apple will literally make you get an upgrade because they want to outdate your stuff so that you can spend your money and buy a brand new phone. I currently have the iPhone 14 and it still works, but I know it's not going to last much longer because Apple is going to force me to get a new one. Streaming it used to be the big thing because a lot of people would cut out cable to save money and just do streaming. But now you need like 10 different streaming services to watch all your favorite shows. I saw somewhere that the cost of having multiple streaming services is as much or even higher than if you were just to pay for cable. Ridiculous.
Wow.
These are things that I think are no longer.
I understand I'm probably going to get some slack for this, but I am in Aruba right now. It is my last day. I've been here for 6 nights, and I'm not that impressed. I'm going to be honest. I'm so excited for this trip, and I feel like the internet makes it seem like Aruba is the best place on earth, and you talk to people that have been here 15, 20 times, and it's their favorite place, but I've been to many places, and I know you can't control weather, but it was raining 2 days here, which is very rare, I understand. But the wind, like they say it is windy, it is windy, okay? Like I'm saying, chairs hitting you in your back every 3 seconds, napkins flying, water bottles, like you cannot control your hair whatsoever. Like don't even think that you're gonna be able to do your hair because you're not. Hats flying off of your head, like I don't know if we just came on like the rainiest, windiest week possible. I'm staying here over Christmas and New Year's. But we leave tomorrow, which is January 1st, and the food, I got sick. I was throwing up all night one night. And besides me getting sick, I didn't even think the food was that great, I'll be honest. Like, I don't know, it's beautiful, it is, but I can talk more about it if anyone's interested or has any questions. But for the price that you pay to come here, I mean, I've been to many other countries, on cruises, resorts, and I don't know, maybe I didn't see it the way other people saw it, but you right now.
Here are expensive things I've spent my money on that I don't think are worth it. Number one, and this kind of pains me to say, but it's the woven tote from Madewell. Mine fell apart within 3 months. It was unraveling and I was just super disappointed in like the craftsmanship of it. They did let me return it at Nordstrom where I bought it, so they do get points for that. The Dyson vacuum broke on us after like, I want to say 4 years, and I just feel like for the price, they should last a lot longer. Sunscreens that are like over $30 is insane to me. And I used to use Elta MD, but after I lived in Japan and I tried so many sunscreens that were Japanese brand, Korean brand, like Asian skincare is top notch, but their sunscreen is like the best and so much more affordable. Like it doesn't need to be that expensive. Barefoot Dreams blankets are not worth it. Once you wash and dry them, they're like every other blanket. Like they're soft, but they're just as soft as my Amazon ones. Okay, that's all. I'm curious what other people have spent their money on that don't think are worth it, because I hate spending my money on things that don't hold up or are just like
things Americans have stopped buying, and the data to back it up. Car sales have fallen for the first time since 2022, and I really feel like it's accredited to the fact that there are now subscriptions tied to auto. We're also seeing a huge decline in eating out, and that's usually the number one thing to go when money is tight. And money is tight. We're also seeing a decline in home decor, new clothes, as well as big appliances, but we're not surprised. A lot of it is driven by the tariffs. The problem is people are making sacrifices, but because their wages aren't keeping up with inflation, we're really starting to see the pain point. Follow along if you want the honest side of building wealth. Things Americans have stopped.
hello to my 706.
Here are 5 things that are no longer worth your money. So number 1, food delivery apps. Now I want you guys to look at this Chipotle burrito on DoorDash. It's $1 to $2 marked up compared to in store. Then at checkout, even with Dash Pass, which I get as a credit card perk, it's $22.16 with tip. And if I didn't have that perk, it would be $29. Delivery apps were more affordable when they came out 10 years ago, but now menu items are overpriced and the fees are insane. Number 2 are new cars and new car payments. The average new car now sells for an average of $50,000, and in the first few years of owning a car, they typically depreciate by over 25%. With new car payments being over $750 a month, I think you should just stick to a lightly used car to save some money. Number 3 are concerts. So 10 years ago, you could have bought a concert ticket to a pretty big artist for maybe $50 to $100, but these days it's $300 to $400, and Ticketmaster is not helping that case either. Number 4 are extended warranties. So when you are at Best Buy and they try to sell you that $200 extended warranty on a $500 TV, these are just not worth the money. They often have exclusions and they might not even cover all the repairs for damages that happen to your products, and statistically these warranties make profits for the store and not the customer. And number 5 is any spending relating to status. So this could be in the form of designer goods, tickets to Coachella, buying a new car that you can't afford, or renting a table at a club for $2,000 in order to get bottle service. Spending on status doesn't contribute to your net worth at the end of the day, nor does it help your financial foundation. So what do you think? Do you guys agree with me or not? Let me know in the comments. Here are 5 things that are no longer worth your money. So number 1, food delivery apps. Now I want you guys to look at this Chipotle burrito on DoorDash. It's $1 to $2 marked up compared to in store. Then at checkout, even with Dash Pass, which I get as a credit card perk, it's $22.16 with tip. And if I didn't have that perk, it would be $29. Delivery apps were more affordable when they came out 10 years ago, but now menu items are overpriced and the fees are insane. Number 2 are new cars and new car payments. The average new car now sells for an average of $50,000, and in the first few years of owning a car, they typically depreciate by over 25%. With new car payments being over $750 a month, I think you should just stick to a lightly used car to save some money. Number 3 are concerts. So 10 years ago, you could have bought a concert ticket to a pretty big artist for maybe $50 to $100, but these days it's $300 to $400, and Ticketmaster is not helping that case either. Number 4 are extended warranties. So
if you have a spending problem, I think you should travel more. I have become a more frugal person the more I have traveled, because it has made me realize that nothing I could possibly buy in the US is worth money. I just don't think we get sufficient value for what we spend here. Like, I can buy a matching Lululemon set, or I can take an all-day catamaran trip in Greece. I can have a 1 month's car payment here, or I can take a multi-day trek to Machu Picchu. And it's not even about the price comparisons.
As someone that grew up poor and was afraid to spend money but now has a couple bucks, here are things that are just not worth the money to me. Now, I know a lot of the girlies aren't gonna like this, but I'm just saying it's not worth it to me. First thing is pretty much anything designer. I know a lot of y'all like a logo. Personally, I just don't care for logos, and a lot of it I feel like is cheaply made and you can get better quality elsewhere. And now I know you girls are really not gonna like this one. Expensive flights, especially if it's a short flight. If it's a longer flight, of course I prefer comfort. If it's a 2-hour flight to Florida and one of the flights is $500, the other one's $80 round trip, best believe I'm doing the budget airline. And I know a lot of you guys are too Hollywood for budget airlines like Frontier, Spirit, all of that. Not me, baby, not me. And last but certainly not least, those quote unquote luxury apartments. You know, the ones that are $4,000 and cheaply made. You know damn well what I'm talking about. Ones. My first ever apartment was a 3rd floor walk up. It had rats, rodents, roaches, bed bugs, everything you could think of. So all I ever wanted was to live in those luxury buildings with a beautiful view, a doorman, all of that. When I finally did, I'm like, why are we paying over $3,000 for $500?
Expensive things that are unfortunately not worth your money, part 2. Since you guys liked my previous video so much,
would I ever get into OnlyFans management?
This is where we are in society. That's 8 pieces of chicken and some rice for $15. $15 for this. $15. Does anybody else have the feeling like there's not going to be any restaurants left if this is what's happening? Like, I'll pay $20 for Five Guys because I feel like it's worth it, but $15 for 8 pieces of chicken and a bunch of rice, not worth it. This is ridiculous.
Expensive things that are not worth it. I made a video about expensive things that are worth it, so now I'm gonna make a video about expensive things that are not worth it.
Going out for coffee, buying a brand new car, having multiple streaming services.
there are 5 home upgrades that are a complete waste of money. And it's not that they're not nice things to have, but when it comes to resale value, these 5 are absolutely the worst. And you're going to hate me for saying the last one. And if you don't know, my name is John, and
It's insane and also a little bit depressing how much money has lost its value in just a few years. I've been thinking about this so much. Back in 2020, I was making $17 an hour, and at the time it was the most I had ever made, and I was so excited to be making that much.
Nice.
I was working as a receptionist, and when I got hired the year before, I was making $14 an hour. And I was even excited to be making $14 an hour at the time. But once I started making $17 an hour, oh my God, I thought I was hot shit. I was looking into moving out. Like, I was so happy. Last year, I was making $19 an hour working at a spa, and at the time it was the most I'd ever made, and it just didn't feel like a lot. Like, it's crazy how $17 an hour in 2020 made me feel like I was rich, and then $19 an hour last year felt like just not a whole lot of money. I don't know. Like, it felt
And there are also some people in America who are paying straight up absurd amount of prices. And of course, there are some people who are suffering from, well, high rent prices. Some of these rental prices are just insane when they shouldn't even be this price. It seems like the landlords in these companies, these big corporations, are simply overcharging for housing. And housing should be actually universal rights.
Hey, look.
Okay, good news, bad news about rents. In the 50 biggest cities, rents are actually down about 2% or $30 a month from last year. That's according to Realtor.com. And with a lot of multifamily construction underway, there is a lot of supply that could continue to lower rents. In fact, the Northeast is leading the country in groundbreakings, but so far that does not appear to be helping rents here. Apartments.com finding rents are up from last year, and Connecticut is the 6th most expensive rent by state.
How are y'all paying anywhere between $1,600 and $2,000 a month for rent on $7.25 an hour? Seriously, I need somebody to show their work because the math ain't mathing. Because, you know, every time somebody always loves to say, folks don't want to work. I always laugh at that. There are plenty of jobs. The problem is, there's plenty of jobs they'll pay you money just enough, but not enough to get ahead. It's like being on a treadmill that charges you rent. You run at full speed, but you still ain't going nowhere. Think about it. Rent is $2,000. Then you still need lights, groceries, car insurance, gas, and the car itself. At this point, your paycheck is showing up like a contestant on a reality survival show. Back in my day, you could get a whole apartment, 1 bedroom, say, $450, plus utilities included. Now the landlords hand you the keys and a financial hostage situation. And then people wonder why folks got 2 and 3 jobs and still can't breathe financially. This ain't sustainable.
Something that's really concerning me about rent is I feel like 1 bedrooms are now just being cannibalized up in the market by couples.
Okay.
And I feel like they're running rent prices accordingly. Like they're increasing 1 bedroom rent prices as if 2 people could live there. Because I'm seeing places in the city where I live where we're verging on like $4,000. You know, I mean, not quite. Like, we're getting there. Like, every year it's increasing and increasing. And it's like, at what point is the market going to stop it? Well, I'm just worried the market's not going to stop it, because basically it's going to force single people into studios, I guess, or into our cars, I guess.
Right.
And then the couples will just continue to eat up all of the 1 bedrooms. And so it is pretty concerning that, and for somebody my age, 33, that has a lot of money. Like, I don't have a problem with rent, but I don't like paying a huge portion of my money to rent. It's just, it's such a suck on my money, and I think the rent prices are outrageous. It's ridiculous that I'm 33 years old and I feel like they want me to go back to living like a college student. Like, they want me to live in a closet or you know, go back to living in a studio where my bed is like inches away from my oven.
Makes sense.
I'm not going to do that. That's so absurd. And even some of these 1-bedroom apartments, it's like there's not enough in them. So there's like, the closet is tiny and you have no storage, there's no shelves, there's no nothing. Like, this is a silly gripe, but like...
So the average US rent just jumped to $3,000 a month. And landlords want you to earn 3 times the rent, which is $108,000 a year. But the average American only makes $51,000, meaning that half the country doesn't qualify for an average apartment. Not because they're lazy, not because they failed, but because the math broke. For decades, the rule was simple: earn 3 times the rent. It was meant to protect landlords and tenants to make sure that the tenants could pay. But something changed.
People are charging $1,000 a month to rent.
People on the internet will like see me eating food and they'll be like, well, you're not really struggling if you're eating. So fucking funny.
Reality is gonna...
Yo, the cost of living is ridiculous. So, you know, my lease is about to end, and you know, I'm apartment hunting, just looking around, and I haven't been apartment hunting in so long because I've been in my current place for about 2 years. And now that I'm looking, I'm like, oh, this is what they talking about. I'm looking at 1 bedrooms for $2,000, $2,100, 2 bedrooms, $2,300. I would never pay that for an apartment. I will never. And I know a lot of people keep saying, you know, just get a house, get a house. It's not that simple, buddy. When you have a house, your base mortgage could be $1,600, but all the other stuff you got to pay on top of that, you're paying a lot more than that.
Florida has climbed to #1, not in a good way. You can see here behind us, these states marked in red are ranked the worst states in the country for renters.
So the worst in the red.
The worst.
Not good. All right, a new consumer affairs analysis shows rent in Florida is about 18% higher than the national median. Action News' Yona Gavino is live in Jacksonville. Yona, there is some good news.
Ben, there is good news, even though it's not really a good look. But again, you could call us the best of the worst, if you will. And I checked here in Jacksonville. It turns out statewide, we do have better prices when it comes to lower rentals. Florida just earned a title no renter wants to hear. The worst state in the nation for apartment hunters when it comes to how much they pay in rent. Turning the key should be the easy part. But the biggest challenge for renters is finding an apartment they can afford to call home in the first place. For Kevin Green, renting has been a way of life.
Here for 20 years.
One of the pros is not having to pay for maintenance repairs.
The washer and dryer is always going out, and the refrigerator is going out, and they got to fix this and that.
State Representative Anna Escamani has filed tenant protection legislation for years.
I am 35 years old, and unfortunately, data today speaks to how homeownership is harder and harder for younger.
Rent inflation in New York is being driven up so substantially by people moving out of their apartments regularly. This month, I'm moving out of my apartment after only being there for 1 year. In total, the total cost of my apartment was $4,400 when I signed the lease 1 year ago. They came back to us for the rent increase, and they had increased it by $500, represented an over 11% increase, which I thought was ridiculous. So we did push back and tried to negotiate, and we were able to get it down to $4,800. Long story short, I'm not renewing that lease for many other reasons, but they now listed that exact apartment on Streezy for $5,200.
There's somebody on here talking about $1,700 rent ain't that bad. You shitting me? $1,700 for an apartment? Damn, $1,700, that shit horrible shit.
Hey
Hey, so I'm a homeowner that has roommates, which technically makes me a landlord, and I just figured out why rent is so expensive. I'm a landlord that's just trying to break even on my property. That means that when I get a payment, it goes straight to my mortgage bank. Now, this is a random number, but let's say my mortgage is this much a month. This much is what's going towards your interest and principal, and this much is what's going towards your escrow, which is your property tax and your insurance. So let's say you're trying to break even, which means you're not even including a maintenance charge. So if the fridge breaks, the washer breaks, anything breaks, that's coming out of your paycheck with your hard-earned money, not your renters. That would mean that you are losing money. You are not breaking even. You are having to pay for those things. So you would think this is the minimum number that you would have to charge your renters. Wrong, because even though this has property tax, this is considered income.
Rent in London is only going one way, and that's up. But what if I told you there's a scheme in London that could...
If you make $500 a week and you get paid 4 times a month, it's 4 weeks in a month. I think there's a month or 2 of the year that got 5 weeks in it. So $500 a week times 4. That's $2,000 a month that you make at your current job. And your rent is $1,700 a month.
Sheesh. And
$1,700 a month could be a pretty decent apartment or a pretty decent house. So that will leave you $300. Now, mind you, you have to go to work, right? You have to get gas. A lot of people do carpool. So they may pay them $100 a month for carpool or $100 a month for gas. That actually leaves them $200. Now, that's just if they carpool. If they got...
Yeah, there's a big problem in America, and it needs to be fixed by our politicians.